The Golden Feather and the Wise Owl. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled in the heart of a vast and beautiful valley, there lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra was known throughout the village for her kind heart and gentle spirit. She loved to wander through the meadows and forests that surrounded her home, always eager to discover new wonders of nature. One day, as Lyra was exploring a particularly dense part of the forest, she came across something extraordinary, a single golden feather, glimmering in the sunlight that filtered through the trees. It was unlike any feather she had ever seen, and she knew at once that it was magical. She picked it up carefully, feeling warmth and a strange sense of peace wash over her as she held it. Lyra decided to take the feather to her grandmother, who was the wisest person in the village. Her grandmother had told her many stories of the magical creatures that lived in the forest, and Lyra was certain that the golden feather must belong to one of them. When Lyra showed her grandmother the feather, the old woman's eyes widened in surprise. "This is the feather of Oriole, the golden owl," her grandmother explained. Oriole is a guardian of the forest, a creature of immense wisdom and power. It is said that whoever possesses one of Oriole's feathers can make a single wish, a wish that will surely come true. Lyra's heart raced with excitement. A wish? She could wish for anything she wanted. But as she thought about it, she realized that she didn't want to waste the wish on something selfish. She wanted to do something that would help others. She decided to visit the great oak tree where Oriole was said to reside. If she could speak to the golden owl, perhaps she could learn more about how best to use the wish. The journey to the great oak tree was not easy. The path was long and winding, and Lyra had to cross a wide river, climb steep hills, and navigate through thick underbrush. But Lyra was determined, and the golden feather seemed to guide her, always pointing her in the right direction. Finally, after what felt like hours, Lyra arrived at the great oak tree. The tree was enormous, with roots that twisted and turned through the earth like the veins of the forest itself. Its branches reached high into the sky, and at the very top, Lyra saw a flash of gold. "Who comes to visit the guardian of the forest?" a deep, resonant voice called out. A moment later, Oriole the golden owl swooped down from the branches, landing gracefully on one of the lower limbs. His golden feathers shone brilliantly in the dappled light, and his wise, amber eyes gazed at Lyra with curiosity. Lyra held out the golden feather. "I found this in the forest, and I was told it belongs to you, great Oriole." Oriole tilted his head. "Indeed, that is one of my feathers. You are a kind and honest soul to return it to me. In doing so, you have earned the right to make a wish. But I sense that you seek guidance before making your wish." Lyra nodded. "I don't want to waste the wish. I want to use it to help others, but I'm not sure how." The golden owl blinked slowly, considering her words. "Wishes are powerful things, and they can change the world in ways you might not expect. But you have already shown great wisdom by seeking advice. Tell me, child, what troubles your village?" Lyra thought for a moment. Her village was a happy place, but there was one thing that always seemed to cause the villagers distress. Every year, the river that flowed through the valley would flood during the spring rains, destroying crops and homes. No matter what they did, the villagers could never prevent the flooding. "Our village suffers from floods every year," Lyra said. "It causes so much pain and hardship. If there was a way to stop the floods, it would help everyone." Oriole nodded, understanding. "That is a noble wish, young one. If you wish to protect your village from the floods, the river can be tamed, and the waters controlled." Lyra's heart filled with hope. "Yes, that's what I wish for, to protect my village from the floods." Oriole spread his wings, and as he did, the golden feather in Lyra's hand began to glow even brighter. The light from the feather surrounded her, and she felt the magic of the wish taking hold. When the light faded, the feather was gone, and Oriole smiled kindly at her. "Your wish has been granted, Lyra," the owl said. "The river will no longer flood your village. Instead, it will bring prosperity, nourishing your crops and ensuring that your village thrives. Go now, and see the fruits of your wish." Lyra thanked Oriole and hurried back to her village, eager to see if the wish had come true. As she neared the river, she noticed that the water flowed calmly, even though the spring rains had already begun. The riverbanks were strong and secure, and the fields that had once been destroyed by floods were green and lush. The villagers were amazed at the change, and when they learned of Lyra's wish and her encounter with Oriel, they were filled with gratitude. Lyra's wish had not only saved their village but had also brought them closer together, as they realized the importance of caring for one another and their home. From that day forward, the village prospered, and Lyra was celebrated as a hero. But she never sought praise or reward, for she knew that the true magic lay in the kindness and selflessness that had guided her wish. And so, Lyra lived a long and happy life, always guided by the wisdom of the golden owl and the warmth of the golden feather. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in the gentle kingdom of Thistledown, there was a mystical garden known as the Garden of Whispers. This garden was hidden deep within the enchanted Forest of Echoes and was renowned for its vibrant, ever-blooming flowers that whispered secrets and dreams to those who visit it. At the heart of the garden was the Celestial Rose, a flower said to grant a single wish to anyone who truly deserved it. In a small village on the edge of the forest lived a kind and imaginative girl named Lily. Lily was known for her compassion and her love of nature. Her best friend was a clever, adventurous owl named Orion, who had a talent for guiding and solving riddles. One crisp autumn morning, as the leaves turned gold and crimson, Lily and Orion discovered an ancient scroll hidden in an old bookshop. The scroll detailed the way to the Garden of Whispers and spoke of the celestial rose that would bloom under the light of the harvest moon. Excited by the prospect of discovering the garden, Lily and Orion decided to embark on their journey. As the harvest moon began to rise, they ventured into the Forest of Echoes, guided by the moonlight and their curiosity. As they entered the forest, they were greeted by the soft rustling of leaves and the gentle hum of hidden creatures. The path to the Garden of Whispers was illuminated by glowing lanterns that floated softly above the ground, leading them deeper into the forest. The first challenge they encountered was the Gate of Echoes, a grand archway adorned with shimmering vines. To pass through the gate, they needed to solve a riddle spoken by a mysterious voice. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Lily thought for a moment, and Orion's wise eyes gleamed with understanding. A fire, Lily answered confidently. The gate opened with a gentle creak, revealing the path to the next challenge. The second challenge was the Labyrinth of Light. They found themselves in a maze of tall, glowing hedges that changed color and shape as they moved. To navigate through the labyrinth, they needed to find the correct sequence of colors that led them to the center. Orion flew high above the maze to get a better view, while Lily followed his directions on the ground. By working together and observing the changing colors, they successfully made their way through the labyrinth and reached the heart of the garden. The final challenge was the trial of the heart's truth. At the center of the Garden of Whispers, they found the celestial rose, glowing softly in the moonlight. To make their wish, they needed to speak their true desire from the heart. Lily and Orion stood before the celestial rose and reflected on their journey. They realized that their greatest wish was not for themselves, but for the happiness and well-being of their village and its people. Lily spoke their wish aloud. We wish for the prosperity and joy of our village, so that everyone may find peace and happiness. As Lily's words floated through the garden, the celestial rose glowed with an even brighter light. The magic of the rose spread throughout the Garden of Whispers and beyond, filling the forest with a warm, comforting glow. When Lily and Orion returned to their village, they were greeted with awe and gratitude. The village had been transformed by the magic of the celestial rose. The fields were lush, the streams sparkled, and the people were filled with joy and contentment. The story of Lily and Orion's adventure and the magic of the Garden of Whispers became a cherished tale in Thistledown. It reminded everyone of the power of selfless wishes and the beauty of a kind heart. And so, the Garden of Whispers remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes bloomed under the light of the harvest moon. The end. Once upon a time, in a hidden valley embraced by towering mountains and lush forests, there was a charming village named Willowbrook. The village was renowned for its beautiful meadows and sparkling streams, but its greatest treasure was an ancient oak tree at its center, known as the Elder Oak. This tree was said to be the keeper of an ancient magic, but few knew what that magic truly was. Among the villagers was a kind-hearted girl named Elara. Elara lived with her grandmother, who had always told her stories of the Elder Oak and its magical powers. One day, as her grandmother lay ill, she entrusted Elara with a delicate, silver pendant that had been passed down through their family for generations. This pendant, her grandmother said, her voice weak but full of warmth, has always been linked to the Elder Oak. I believe it holds the key to healing and hope. Take it to the tree and see if it can help. Elara took the pendant and promised to do everything she could. She made her way to the Elder Oak, her heart filled with both hope and apprehension. As she approached the ancient tree, she felt a gentle, comforting breeze, as if the tree was welcoming her. The Elder Oak stood majestic and serene, its branches stretching high into the sky and its roots deep in the earth. Elara approached the tree and gently placed the pendant against its trunk. As soon as the pendant touched the tree, a soft, golden glow began to emanate from it. Suddenly, a warm, melodic voice spoke from the tree. "Welcome, Elara. I am the guardian of this ancient magic. The pendant you carry is a key to a powerful enchantment that can bring healing and renewal." Elara was amazed but also anxious. "How can I use this magic to help my grandmother?" The Elder Oak responded, "To unlock the pendant's power, you must embark on a quest to find 3 magical artifacts hidden in the enchanted forest. These artifacts will restore the pendant's full magic, allowing it to heal." With a determined heart, Elara set off into the enchanted forest. The forest was filled with wonders and mysteries, glowing flowers, whispering streams, and trees that seemed to hum with ancient songs. As she ventured deeper, she encountered a friendly fox with shimmering fur. "I can help you find the artifacts," the fox said with a mischievous twinkle in its eye. "Follow me, and we shall embark on this adventure together." The first artifact was a golden feather, said to be the gift of the mythical phoenix. The fox led Elara to a hidden glen where a majestic phoenix perched on a branch, its feathers glowing like the sun. To earn the feather, the phoenix said, "You must solve a riddle. What is both a friend and a guide, shining brightly in the night sky?" Elara thought for a moment and then answered, "The stars." The phoenix smiled and gracefully plucked a golden feather from its plumage, handing it to Elara. "You have answered correctly. This feather will aid you on your journey." Elara and the fox continued their quest, reaching a serene lake where the second artifact, a crystal vial filled with moonlight, was said to be hidden. As Elara approached the lake, she saw a graceful water nymph floating above the surface. To receive the vial, the nymph said, "You must show kindness to the creatures of the lake." Elara noticed a small fish tangled in some reeds and carefully freed it. The nymph, pleased with her compassion, handed over the crystal vial. "You have shown true kindness. This vial will bring you closer to your goal." With 2 artifacts secured, Elara and the fox set out to find the final artifact, a silver harp hidden within a grove of ancient trees. The harp was guarded by a wise old elf with twinkling eyes and a friendly smile. To obtain the harp, the elf said, "You must play a tune that echoes the music of your heart." Elara took a deep breath and played a melody on the harp that was both soothing and heartfelt. The elf, touched by the beauty of her music, gave her the silver harp. "Your music has unlocked the final artifact. Use it wisely." With all 3 artifacts in hand, Elara returned to the Elder Oak. The tree's golden glow intensified as Elara placed the golden feather, the crystal vial, and the silver harp at its base. She then carefully attached the pendant to the tree, and a brilliant light enveloped the Elder Oak. The light spread through the village, reaching Elara's grandmother. As the magic touched her, she awoke with renewed strength and vitality. The entire village rejoiced at the miracle, and Elara felt a deep sense of fulfillment and joy. The Elder Oak spoke once more, its voice filled with gratitude. "You have restored the pendant's magic and healed your grandmother. Remember, true magic lies in the kindness and bravery of your heart. Elara returned home, her grandmother healthy and the village flourishing. The pendant continued to shine with a soft, reassuring glow, a symbol of the magic that lived in every act of courage and love. And so, the tale of Elara and the enchanted pendant became a cherished story in Willowbrook. A reminder of the power of magic and the strength found in a heart full of hope. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there was a magical forest where no one dared to enter. The trees were so tall that their tops touched the clouds, and the animals there could speak in human tongues. The heart of this forest was said to hold a great secret, one that only the bravest and kindest could discover. In a grand castle not far from the forest, there lived a young princess named Elara. She was known throughout the kingdom for her kindness and curiosity. She loved exploring the castle gardens and reading stories of faraway lands. But there was one place she had never been allowed to go, the magical forest. One day, Princess Elara overheard her parents, the king and queen, speaking in hushed tones. They were worried about something important. The princess listened closely and heard them mention the forest and a mysterious curse. They spoke of a lost princess, a girl who had disappeared many years ago, leaving the kingdom heartbroken. The only clue to her whereabouts was said to be hidden deep within the magical forest. Elara's heart raced with curiosity and concern. She felt a strong pull toward the forest, as if it were calling her. That night, she made a decision. She would enter the forest and find out the truth about the lost princess. The next morning, before the sun had fully risen, Elara sneaked out of the castle. She wore a simple cloak and carried a small bag with food and water. As she approached the edge of the forest, she felt both excited and nervous. The trees loomed over her, their leaves whispering secrets in the wind. Taking a deep breath, Elara stepped into the forest. The air was cool and fresh, and the sounds of birds singing filled her ears. As she walked, she noticed that the animals were not afraid of her. A squirrel chattered a friendly greeting, and a deer bowed its head as she passed. Elara smiled, feeling a little more at ease. After a while, she came upon a large, ancient oak tree. It was the biggest tree she had ever seen, with roots that spread out like giant fingers and branches that seemed to touch the sky. As Elara approached the tree, she felt a warm breeze, and then, to her amazement, the tree began to speak. "Welcome, Princess Elara," the tree said in a deep, gentle voice. "I have been waiting for you." Elara gasped in surprise. "You know who I am?" she asked. The tree's branches swayed as if nodding. "Yes, I know many things. I am the guardian of this forest, and I know why you have come." Elara's eyes widened. "You do? Can you tell me about the lost princess? My parents mentioned her, and I feel like I need to help." The tree sighed, and its leaves rustled softly. "The lost princess you seek is closer than you think. Many years ago, a terrible curse was placed upon this kingdom. The curse took a young princess from her family and trapped her in this forest. She has been waiting for someone with a pure heart to find her and break the curse." Elara felt a surge of determination. "How can I help? What must I do to break the curse?" The tree's bark shimmered with a faint golden light. "To break the curse, you must find the princess's heart. It is hidden in a place where only the brave and the kind can reach. But beware, the forest will test you. You must face 3 challenges, each one more difficult than the last. Only then will you find the princess's heart and free the lost princess." Elara nodded, her resolve strengthening. "I'm ready. Tell me what I must do." The tree's voice grew serious. "Your first challenge is to find the stream of reflection. Follow the path to your right until you reach the stream. There, you must look into the water and see your true self. Only when you understand what you see can you move forward." Elara thanked the tree and set off in the direction it had told her. The path was narrow and winding, and she had to duck under low branches and step carefully over roots. After what felt like hours, she heard the sound of flowing water and soon found herself standing before a clear, sparkling stream. She knelt down and looked into the water. At first, she saw only her reflection, the face of a young girl with bright eyes and a determined expression. But as she continued to gaze into the stream, the water began to ripple, and her reflection changed. She saw herself not as a princess, but as a girl who was kind, brave, and full of love for her family in her kingdom. She saw all the good she had done, and all the good she could do in the future. But she also saw her fears, her fear of not being enough, her fear of failure. Tears filled Alara's eyes as she realized that being a princess wasn't about titles or riches. It was about the strength of her heart and the choices she made. With this newfound understanding, the water in the stream began to glow with a soft light. The stream whispered, "You have seen your true self. You may move forward." Alara smiled and wiped away her tears. She stood up and continued on her journey. The second challenge soon awaited her. As she walked, she came upon a large, twisted briar patch. The thorns were sharp and thick, and there was no way around it. She would have to find a way through. Remembering the tree's words, Alara knew this challenge was not just about physical strength. She had to use her mind and her heart. She thought of the many people in her kingdom who faced obstacles every day, people who needed help, guidance, and sometimes just a little kindness. She realized that the thorns represented these challenges, and to overcome them, she needed to face them head-on, with courage and care. Taking a deep breath, she carefully began to part the thorns, speaking softly to them as if they were living things. "Please let me pass," she whispered. "I mean no harm." To her surprise, the thorns began to soften and move aside, creating a narrow path for her to walk through. Alara moved slowly, her heart full of hope. When she finally reached the other side, she saw that the briar patch had vanished, replaced by a field of beautiful flowers. "You have shown kindness and courage," a voice said on the breeze. "You may continue." Alara knew she was close to finding the princess's heart. She continued on, her steps lighter and her spirit stronger. Soon, she reached a clearing where a large, glowing crystal stood in the center. It pulsed with a gentle light, and Alara knew this was the princess's heart. But before she could reach it, a dark shadow appeared. It took the form of a towering figure with glowing red eyes, blocking her path. "You will not take the heart," the shadow growled. "It belongs to the curse, and no one shall break it." Alara's heart pounded in her chest, but she stood her ground. "I will not let fear stop me. The lost princess deserves to be free, and I will do everything I can to save her." The shadow laughed, but Alara did not falter. She closed her eyes and remembered all the good she had seen in herself, all the kindness and bravery she had shown. She thought of the love she had for her family in her kingdom, and with that love, she stepped forward. As she did, the light from the crystal grew brighter, and the shadow began to shrink. Alara kept walking, her heart filled with determination and love. The shadow roared, but it was no match for the light. It dissolved into nothingness, and the crystal floated into Alara's hands. "You have passed the final test," a voice whispered, gentle and warm. "You have found the princess's heart." The crystal in Alara's hands began to glow brighter and brighter until it transformed into a young girl, a girl who looked just like Alara, but with hair as silver as the moon. It was the lost princess, freed at last. "Thank you," the princess said, her voice filled with gratitude. "You have saved me and lifted the curse. The kingdom is free once more." The two princesses embraced, and together they returned to the castle. The king and queen were overjoyed to see their daughter safe and to learn that the curse had been broken. The lost princess, who had been trapped for so long, was welcomed back with open arms. From that day on, the kingdom flourished, and the magical forest became a place of wonder and peace. Princess Alara was celebrated not just for her bravery, but for the strength of her heart. And so, the two princesses lived happily ever after, side by side, as sisters and as the future queens of a kingdom filled with love, kindness, and light. The end. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, there stood an ancient well at the heart of the village square. The well was known to the villagers as the Enchanted Well. It was said to possess magical powers that could grant one true wish to those who were pure of heart and faced great challenges. In this village lived a young girl named Isla. Isla was known for her generosity and bravery, always ready to help others in need. Her family was modest, but their hearts were full of love. Despite her joyful spirit, Isla had one deep wish: she wanted to help her village thrive and bring prosperity to everyone who lived there. One winter's day, the village was struck by a terrible frost that lasted longer than usual. The crops withered, and the once bustling market square fell silent. The villagers struggled to keep warm and find enough food. Seeing her neighbors in distress, Isla decided to seek out the enchanted well for help. One evening, under the light of the full moon, Isla made her way to the well. She took with her a single lantern and a small sack of bread, knowing that many in the village were hungry. As she approached the well, she saw that its surface was covered in frost, and the water inside was frozen. Isla spoke softly to the well, "Great enchanted well, I wish to bring prosperity back to our village and help those in need. Please, if you can grant one true wish, let it be for the good of everyone." The well remained silent, and Isla felt a pang of doubt. But just as she was about to leave, she heard a faint, melodious voice. The water in the well began to shimmer, and a gentle mist rose from its depths. "Isla, you have a noble heart," the voice said. "To bring prosperity to your village, you must first embark on a journey to find the 3 keys of harmony. Only then can the true magic of the enchanted well be revealed." With newfound determination, Isla set off on her quest. The first key was said to be hidden in the Whispering Forest, where the trees were known to speak in hushed tones. As Isla entered the forest, she listened carefully to the whispers of the trees, which guided her to a hidden glade. There, she found a golden key embedded in a bed of moss. The second key was rumored to be in the crystal caves, where the walls sparkled with the light of countless gems. To reach the key, Isla had to navigate through a maze of glittering passages. Her courage and patience led her to the heart of the cave, where she discovered a silver key resting atop a pedestal. For the final key, Isla needed to climb the towering peak, a high mountain that was often shrouded in mist. The ascent was challenging, and Isla faced strong winds and freezing temperatures. But with perseverance, she reached the summit and found the third key, made of shimmering stardust, hidden in a small, celestial alcove. Having collected all 3 keys, Isla returned to the enchanted well. As she approached, the well's water began to flow once more, and the air was filled with a soft, harmonious melody. Isla placed the 3 keys in a small, ornate box beside the well. The water in the well sparkled brightly, and a brilliant light erupted, enveloping the village in a warm, golden glow. The frost lifted, and the crops began to flourish once again. The villagers rejoiced as their market square came alive with the sights and sounds of prosperity. Isla's selflessness and bravery had restored the magic of the enchanted well, bringing hope and abundance back to her village. She was celebrated as a hero, not for her own gain, but for the love and care she had shown to her community. From that day on, the village thrived, and the enchanted well continued to stand as a symbol of the magic that can be achieved through compassion and perseverance. The story of Isla and the well was passed down through generations, a reminder of the power of selfless wishes and the wonders that can be achieved when hearts are filled with love and courage. And so, Isla's village remained a place of joy and prosperity, forever touched by the magic of the enchanted well. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the sky sparkled with stars every night, there was a small village nestled in a valley surrounded by towering mountains. In this village lived a young girl named Luna, who had a special gift: she could speak to the stars. Every night, Luna would climb to the top of a hill and gaze at the twinkling stars above. She would whisper her dreams and wishes to them, and in return, the stars would send her gentle, glowing messages that filled her heart with joy. One evening, as Luna was admiring the night sky, she noticed that one star was missing. It was a bright, shimmering star that had always been there. Luna felt a pang of sadness and decided to find out where it had gone. The next morning, Luna set out on a journey to find the missing star. She traveled through lush forests, crossed babbling brooks, and climbed rocky hills. Along the way, she met many friendly creatures who offered their help. In the heart of the forest, Luna encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. "Wise owl," Luna said, "I am searching for a missing star that has disappeared from the night sky. Do you know where I might find it?" The owl hooted softly and said, "I have heard of a magical cave where lost stars are kept. It lies beyond the misty mountains, but be warned, the path is filled with challenges." Undeterred, Luna thanked the owl and continued her journey. She reached the misty mountains and faced the first challenge, a deep, swirling fog that obscured her path. She remembered the glowing messages the stars had sent her and used their light to guide her through the fog. After overcoming the fog, Luna arrived at a wide river with a rickety bridge. As she carefully crossed the bridge, it creaked and swayed. She focused on her goal and made it to the other side safely. Finally, Luna reached the entrance of the magical cave. The cave was dark and mysterious, but she could see a soft, ethereal light coming from within. Gathering her courage, Luna entered the cave. Inside, the cave was filled with a dazzling array of stars, each glowing softly and floating gently in the air. In the center of the cave, surrounded by a shimmering aura, was the missing star. It was trapped inside a crystal prism, its light flickering weakly. Luna approached the star and gently touched the prism. "Please, let me help you," she whispered. The star's light grew brighter as Luna spoke. The crystal prism began to warm and slowly crack open, releasing the star. The star floated towards Luna, its light bathing the cave in a warm glow. "Thank you for rescuing me," the star said with a voice like a gentle breeze. "I was captured by a dark sorcerer who wanted to steal my light. Your bravery and kindness have restored me." Luna smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "I'm glad I could help. Now, we can return to the night sky together." The star nodded and floated up, guiding Luna out of the cave. As they emerged, the sky was beginning to darken. Luna and the star soared through the air, heading back to the village. When they arrived, the villagers were amazed to see the star returning to its place in the night sky. The village sparkled with renewed light and joy. The missing star took its place among its companions, illuminating the sky with its brilliant glow. Luna looked up at the stars, her heart full of happiness. She knew that her journey had not only brought the missing star home but had also taught her the value of bravery and kindness. From that night on, Luna continued to speak to the stars, sharing her dreams and wishes. The stars, in turn, always shone a little brighter, knowing they had a true friend in Luna. And so, under the starry night sky, Luna and the village lived happily ever after, their dreams and hopes illuminated by the magical stars above. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint coastal village named Seabreeze, there was a legend of a magical shell that whispered secrets to those who found it. This shell, known as the Whispering Shell, was said to have the power to grant one heartfelt wish to a person who proved their kindness and bravery. In this village lived a young girl named Mira. She was known for her kindness and her love for the sea. Mira lived with her grandmother, who told her stories about the Whispering Shell every night. Mira often dreamed of finding the shell, not for herself, but to help her village, which had been facing hardships for years due to a prolonged drought. One sunny morning, Mira set out on a journey to search for the Whispering Shell. Armed with a small satchel, a map her grandmother had drawn from old tales, and her unwavering spirit, she ventured to the far end of the beach where the sea met the cliffs. As Mira walked along the shore, she encountered an elderly fisherman named Old Tom, struggling to repair his fishing net. His hands trembled with age and fatigue. Mira approached him and offered to help. With her assistance, Old Tom was able to mend his net quickly. "Thank you, young lady," Old Tom said with a warm smile. "Kindness is a rare treasure. I hope you find what you're looking for." Mira continued her journey and soon arrived at the base of the cliffs. She spotted a narrow cave entrance partially hidden by rocks. The map indicated that the Whispering Shell might be inside. With a deep breath, she entered the cave. Inside, the cave was dimly lit by shafts of sunlight that filtered through tiny openings in the rock. Mira carefully made her way through, avoiding sharp stalactites and listening to the echoes of dripping water. As she ventured further, she discovered a small, shimmering pool at the center of the cave. The pool was surrounded by colorful seashells. Mira knelt by the pool and began to search among the shells. After a few moments, she spotted a particularly beautiful shell with iridescent hues of blue and silver. As she picked it up, she felt a gentle, warm breeze and heard a faint whisper. "Kind-hearted soul, you have found me." Mira's heart raced with excitement. "Are you the whispering shell? Can you grant a wish?" "Indeed," the shell replied softly. "But first, you must prove your heart is pure and your spirit selfless." Just then, a low rumble echoed through the cave, and Mira realized that the cave was beginning to collapse. Rocks began to fall from the ceiling, and the entrance was quickly being blocked. Mira's first instinct was to escape, but she knew she couldn't leave without helping anyone who might be in danger. She grabbed the shell and dashed back towards the cave entrance. As she emerged, she saw a family of rabbits trapped under some fallen debris. Without hesitation, Mira used her strength and determination to lift the rocks and free the rabbits. As the rabbits scampered to safety, Mira looked back at the cave, only to see the entrance completely blocked. She was trapped inside. In a moment of despair, Mira held the whispering shell close and whispered her wish. "Please, save my village and everyone I love." The shell began to glow brightly, and a soft, melodic sound filled the cave. Suddenly, the rocks blocking the entrance started to shift and move. With surprising ease, the entrance was cleared, and Mira found herself standing safely outside. The whispering shell's glow faded, but a gentle voice spoke once more. "You have shown true courage and selflessness. Your wish is granted." Mira returned to Seabreeze, where she was greeted with astonishment and joy. The drought had ended, and the village's fields were now lush and green, with rivers flowing freely. The villagers celebrated Mira's bravery and kindness. Mira's grandmother embraced her, tears of happiness in her eyes. "You have done more than you know. Your wish has brought us hope and prosperity." From that day on, Mira was known throughout the kingdom as the girl who found the whispering shell and saved her village. The legend of the whispering shell continued to inspire the people of Seabreeze, reminding them that true magic lies in acts of kindness and selflessness. And so, Mira lived a life filled with joy and contentment, knowing that her heart had made a difference. The whispering shell, now resting in a place of honor in the village square, served as a symbol of hope and the power of a kind heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a lush and vibrant forest called Evergreen, there lived a tiny mouse named Milo. Milo was no ordinary mouse. He had a heart as brave as a lion and a curiosity that knew no bounds. The forest was his playground, and he spent his days exploring its nooks and crannies, always seeking new adventures. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the forest was bathed in the soft glow of twilight, Milo overheard a conversation between two old oak trees. They whispered about a mysterious crystal flower hidden deep within the enchanted grove. The crystal flower was said to possess incredible magical powers, capable of granting any wish to the one who found it. But the grove was dangerous, filled with traps and guarded by a fierce and cunning serpent. Milo's whiskers twitched with excitement. He thought of his family and friends and how the crystal flower could bring prosperity to their small community. Determined to find the flower, he set off on his journey that very night, guided by the light of the full moon. As Milo ventured deeper into the forest, he encountered a wise old owl named Athena. Perched high on a branch, Athena looked down at Milo with her piercing eyes. "Where are you headed, little one?" she hooted softly. "I seek the crystal flower in the enchanted grove," Milo replied. "I want to help my family and friends." Athena nodded, impressed by Milo's courage. "The path to the enchanted grove is fraught with danger. You will need wisdom and bravery to succeed. Take this feather," she said, plucking a feather from her wing. "It will protect you from harm." Milo thanked Athena and continued on his way, clutching the feather tightly. As he approached the entrance to the enchanted grove, he noticed the air growing colder, and an eerie silence fell over the forest. The trees here were twisted and gnarled, their branches reaching out like skeletal arms. Suddenly, a rustling sound broke the silence. Milo turned to see a fox with a sleek, reddish coat and cunning eyes emerge from the shadows. "What brings you to the enchanted grove, little mouse?" the fox asked, its voice smooth and menacing. "I seek the crystal flower," Milo answered, standing tall despite his fear. The fox chuckled. "Many have tried, but none have succeeded. The serpent that guards the flower is relentless. But perhaps I can help you. Answer my riddle, and I will show you the way." Milo nodded, his mind racing. "Very well," he said. The fox's eyes gleamed. "What has keys but can't open locks, has space but no room, and you can enter but not go inside?" Milo thought for a moment, then smiled. "A keyboard," he replied confidently. The fox's grin widened. "Correct, little mouse. Follow this path, but beware of the serpent." With the fox's guidance, Milo continued deeper into the grove until he reached a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood the crystal flower, its petals shimmering with an otherworldly glow. But coiled around the flower was the serpent, its scales glistening like polished emeralds and its eyes fixed on Milo. "Who dares approach my flower?" the serpent hissed, its voice a venomous whisper. "I am Milo, and I seek the crystal flower to help my family and friends," Milo said bravely, holding up Athena's feather. The serpent eyed the feather warily, recognizing its protective magic. "Very well, Milo. If you wish to claim the flower, you must prove your worth. Tell me, what is the greatest power in the world?" Milo thought about his adventures and the friends who had helped him along the way. He looked into the serpent's eyes and said, "The greatest power in the world is love. It is love that drives us to be brave, to seek wisdom, and to help others." The serpent stared at Milo for a long moment, then slowly uncoiled itself from around the flower. "You have answered wisely, little mouse. The crystal flower is yours." With a grateful heart, Milo approached the flower and gently plucked it from the ground. As he did, a warm light enveloped him, and he felt a surge of magic flow through him. The flower's power was now his to command. Milo returned to his village, where he was greeted with cheers and tears of joy. Using the magic of the crystal flower, he brought prosperity to his community, ensuring that no one would ever go hungry or thirsty again. The forest flourished, and the animals lived in harmony, all thanks to the bravery and love of a tiny mouse named Milo. And so, Milo's legend spread far and wide, reminding everyone that even the smallest among us can achieve great things when driven by love and courage. The end. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled by the edge of an ancient forest, there was a peculiar shop known as the Lantern of Lost Wishes. The shop was run by an elderly woman named Mabel, who was renowned for her mysterious and enchanting collection of magical items. The centerpiece of the shop was a delicate lantern that glowed with a soft, golden light. The villagers believed that this lantern had the power to grant lost wishes and bring forgotten dreams to life. In this village lived a young boy named Oliver. Oliver was known for his boundless curiosity and his love of stories. Despite his cheerful demeanor, Oliver had a secret wish that had been buried deep within his heart for as long as he could remember. He wished to find his long-lost brother, Elias, who had disappeared many years ago. One chilly autumn evening, as the first stars began to twinkle in the twilight sky, Oliver decided to visit Mabel's shop. He hoped that the lantern might hold a clue to finding Elias. The shop was filled with the scent of old books and spices. And Mabel greeted Oliver with a warm smile. "Welcome, young Oliver," Mabel said kindly. "I sense that you seek something important." Oliver nodded, his heart pounding with hope and fear. "I want to find my brother, Elias. I've heard that your lantern can grant lost wishes. Can it help me?" Mabel's eyes twinkled with understanding. The Lantern of Lost Wishes has indeed brought hope to many. However, it can only reveal its magic to those who approach it with a pure heart and a sincere wish. If you are truly determined, you may find what you seek. Mabel handed Oliver a small, ornate key. This key will unlock the lantern's magic. But remember, the lantern reveals what you need, not necessarily what you expect. Approach it with an open heart and follow where it leads. Oliver thanked Mabel and, with the key in hand, made his way home. That night, under the light of the full moon, he carefully unlocked the lantern and watched as its golden light filled the room. As the lantern glowed brighter, Oliver noticed that it began to project shimmering images on the walls, images of distant places, hidden paths, and a figure that looked strikingly familiar. The images formed a map, showing a route through the ancient forest and leading to a secluded cabin. Oliver felt a surge of excitement and determination. The next morning, he set out on the journey outlined by the lantern, guided by the hope of finding Elias. The path through the forest was long and winding, but Oliver's heart remained steadfast. He followed the map's directions, encountering various challenges along the way: a deep river that he crossed using a fallen tree, a steep hill that he climbed with the help of a kind deer, and a dark cave that he navigated with a lantern he had brought along. At last, Oliver reached the secluded cabin shown on the map. It was a small, charming place surrounded by wildflowers and bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. As Oliver approached the cabin, he noticed a figure sitting on the porch, reading a book. His heart skipped a beat as he recognized the figure, Elias. Tears of joy filled Oliver's eyes as he called out to his brother. Elias looked up, and a look of astonishment and joy crossed his face. "Oliver? Is that you?" Elias exclaimed, rushing to embrace his brother. The siblings were reunited, their hearts overflowing with happiness. Elias explained that he had been living in the cabin for years, having been separated from the village due to a series of unfortunate events. He had always hoped to find his way back home but had been unable to. Oliver shared the story of how he had used the Lantern of Lost Wishes to find him. Together, they marveled at the magic of the lantern and the incredible journey that had brought them together. The two brothers returned to the village, where they were warmly welcomed back. The village celebrated their reunion with a grand feast, and the story of the Lantern of Lost Wishes became a cherished tale. The lantern continued to glow softly in Mabel's shop, a symbol of hope and the power of true wishes. Oliver and Elias were forever grateful for the magic that had reunited them and for the love that had guided them on their journey. And so, the village thrived with joy and unity, and the Lantern of Lost Wishes remained a beacon of dreams and the miracles that can happen when hearts are open and wishes are true. The end. The tale of the brave little tailor and the starry cloak. Once upon a time, in a bustling kingdom called Eldoria, there was a small tailor's shop at the edge of the marketplace. The shop was owned by a young and clever tailor named Finn. Finn was not just an ordinary tailor, he was known for his extraordinary skill in creating garments that were both beautiful and magical. His finest work was a cloak that shimmered like the night sky, with tiny stars woven into the fabric. It was said that this cloak held great power, but Finn had never sold it, waiting for the right person who truly needed its magic. One day, news spread throughout the kingdom that Princess Marin, the king's only daughter, had fallen under a terrible curse. She had been given an enchanted spindle by a wicked sorcerer, and when she pricked her finger on it, she fell into a deep sleep. The king's magicians tried everything to wake her, but nothing worked. The entire kingdom was in despair. The king, desperate to save his daughter, sent out a decree: anyone who could break the curse and awaken the princess would be rewarded with half the kingdom and the princess's hand in marriage. Many brave knights and wise scholars attempted to break the curse, but all failed. When Finn heard the news, he knew what he had to do. He took the starry cloak from its special place in his shop and set out for the royal palace. Though he was not a knight or a scholar, Finn believed in the magic of the cloak and his own courage. The journey to the palace was long, and Finn had to pass through the Darkwood Forest, a place known for its dangers and mysteries. As he entered the forest, he was met by a talking raven with feathers as black as night. "Where are you going, little tailor?" the raven croaked. "I'm going to the palace to save Princess Marin," Finn replied. The raven tilted its head and looked at the cloak in Finn's arms. "That cloak you carry is special. But beware, the Darkwood is full of tricks and traps. You will need more than just the cloak's magic. I will be careful, Finn said. Thank you for the warning. The raven cawed and flew off into the trees. Finn continued his journey, keeping his wits about him. Soon, he encountered a deep, swirling fog that covered the path. In the fog, he could hear strange whispers, telling him to turn back. But Finn wrapped the starry cloak around himself, and the stars on the cloak began to glow, lighting his way through the fog. The whispers faded, and Finn pressed on. Next, Finn came to a rushing river with no bridge or boat in sight. The river was too wide and too strong to swim across. As he stood at the edge, wondering what to do, he noticed a large, shimmering fish swimming close to the shore. "Why do you look so troubled, little tailor?" the fish asked. "I need to cross the river to reach the palace, but there is no way across," Finn replied. The fish flicked its tail and splashed the water. "I will help you cross, but first, you must help me. There is a hook caught in my fin, and it causes me great pain." Without hesitation, Finn knelt down and carefully removed the hook from the fish's fin. The fish sighed with relief and smiled. "Thank you, kind tailor. Now, climb onto my back, and I will carry you across the river." Finn did as the fish said, and with a powerful leap, the fish carried him safely to the other side. Finn thanked the fish and continued on his way. Finally, Finn arrived at the royal palace. The king greeted him with a weary smile, though he doubted that a simple tailor could succeed where so many others had failed. Nevertheless, he led Finn to the chamber where Princess Maren lay, still under the curse. The room was dark, with thick curtains drawn to block out the light. Princess Maren lay on a grand bed, her face pale and her breathing shallow. The cursed spindle was placed on a pedestal beside her, still glowing with a malevolent light. Finn approached the princess and carefully draped the starry cloak over her. The stars on the cloak began to twinkle brightly, casting a gentle light over the room. As the light touched the cursed spindle, it started to crack and crumble until it dissolved into dust. The curse was broken, and Princess Maren's eyes fluttered open. She took a deep breath and looked around, her face lighting up with relief and gratitude. The king, overwhelmed with joy, embraced his daughter and turned to Finn. "You have done what no one else could," the king said. "You have saved my daughter and our kingdom. As promised, you shall have half the kingdom and the princess's hand in marriage." But Finn, humble as ever, shook his head. "I'm honored by your offer, your majesty, but I'm just a tailor. I have no desire to rule a kingdom or marry a princess. All I wish is to continue my work and help those in need." The king was taken aback by Finn's modesty, but he respected the tailor's wishes. "Very well, Finn. You may keep the starry cloak, and you shall be rewarded with a chest of gold. Our kingdom will always be in your debt." Finn thanked the king and Princess Maren, and after a grand celebration, he returned to his little shop at the edge of the marketplace. The starry cloak was placed back in its special place, waiting for the next time its magic would be needed. And so, the brave little tailor lived happily ever after, content with his simple life, knowing that true courage and kindness are the greatest treasures of all. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. In the heart of a misty valley, surrounded by whispering woods and shimmering lakes, lay the village of Lunaria. Lunaria was known for its beautiful moonlit nights when the stars danced across the sky and the moon's light painted everything in silver. But there was one secret that made these nights even more special: the moonlit melody. The moonlit melody was a magical tune that could only be heard on nights when the moon was full. It was said that the melody could only be played by someone pure of heart, and it had the power to heal and bring joy to those who heard it. For many years, the villagers spoke of the melody, but no one had ever seen who played it. One evening, a kind-hearted young girl named Elara moved to Lunaria with her grandmother. Elara loved the village and was fascinated by the tales of the moonlit melody. Her grandmother often told her stories about how the melody could make flowers bloom in winter and bring peace to troubled hearts. On her first full moon night in Lunaria, Elara went outside to listen for the melody. As the moon rose high and the stars sparkled brightly, she heard a soft, enchanting tune drifting through the air. It was the moonlit melody. Elara followed the sound, her heart pounding with excitement. The melody led her to the edge of the village and into the dense woods. There, she found a hidden glade bathed in moonlight. In the center of the glade stood a magnificent, silver harp, its strings shimmering under the moon's glow. Sitting gracefully beside the harp was a mysterious figure cloaked in shimmering robes. The figure played the harp with delicate fingers, and the music was even more beautiful up close. Elara was mesmerized. She stepped forward, making a soft sound. The figure looked up and smiled kindly. "Who are you?" Elara asked, her voice full of wonder. "I am Lyra, the guardian of the moonlit melody," the figure replied. "I play this melody to bring joy and healing to the world. It has been my duty for many centuries." Elara's eyes widened. "Can you teach me to play the moonlit melody? I want to help others, just like you." Lyra's eyes twinkled. "The melody can only be played by those with a pure heart. If you wish to learn, you must first prove your kindness." Lyra explained that there was a magical challenge Elara needed to complete. She must help 3 people in need before the moon set. Each person would present her with a challenge, and only by solving these challenges with compassion could she earn the right to learn the melody. Elara agreed and set off on her quest. Her first stop was an elderly woman who had lost her way in the forest. Elara guided her back to her cozy cottage, sharing warm tea and stories. The woman, grateful and comforted, gave Elara a small, glowing feather as a token of thanks. Next, Elara found a wounded deer lying by the stream. She gently tended to its injuries, using her scarf to bandage its leg. The deer, now able to walk again, nudged Elara with its head and gave her a shimmering leaf as a sign of its gratitude. Finally, Elara came across a young boy sitting alone by the river, looking sad. He had lost his favorite toy boat in the river. Elara searched the water and, with a little effort, retrieved the boat. The boy's face lit up with joy, and he hugged Elara tightly, handing her a tiny, sparkling stone. With the 3 tokens, feather, leaf, and stone, Elara returned to the glade. Lyra smiled and accepted the gifts. "You have shown great kindness and compassion. You are now worthy to learn the moonlit melody." Lyra taught Elara how to play the harp and the melody that had enchanted the village for so long. Under Lyra's guidance, Elara played the harp, and the melody filled the night with a deeper magic, one of hope and healing. As the moon began to set, Lyra blessed Elara and disappeared into the mist. From then on, Elara played the moonlit melody on every full moon night, spreading joy and healing throughout Lunaria and beyond. The village of Lunaria thrived with the magic of the melody. The moonlit nights became even more magical, and the tale of Elara's kindness and the moonlit melody was passed down through generations. And so, the secret of the moonlit melody continued, cherished by all who heard it, and Elara's story became a timeless legend of the power of kindness and the magic of the moon. Once upon a time, in a tranquil kingdom surrounded by lush forests and sparkling rivers, there was a magical realm known for its beautiful birds. Among them was the rare silver feather, a mythical bird said to possess extraordinary powers and grant one heartfelt wish to anyone who could find it. In a small village at the edge of the kingdom, there lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was kind and brave, always helping her neighbors with their troubles. Her family was poor, but they were rich in love and kindness. Elara's greatest wish was to improve the lives of those around her and bring prosperity to her struggling village. One day, a severe winter hit the kingdom, bringing with it an unusually harsh frost. The crops failed, and the villagers were growing anxious. Remembering the legend of the silver feather, Elara decided to set out on a quest to find the mythical bird and make a wish that could save her village. The quest begins early one morning. Elara prepared for her journey. She packed a small bag with essentials, a warm cloak, some bread, and a flask of water. Her mother gave her a silver locket for good luck, a family heirloom that had been passed down through generations. With a hopeful heart, Elara ventured into the forest, guided by the tales of the silver feather. As she walked deeper into the forest, Elara came across a wise old tortoise named Thaddeus, who was known for his knowledge of the enchanted woods. Thaddeus was resting on a moss-covered rock, basking in the weak winter sunlight. "Good day, Thaddeus," Elara greeted him respectfully. "I'm on a quest to find the silver feather. Can you help me?" Thaddeus looked at Elara with wise, kind eyes. "The silver feather is a difficult treasure to find," he said. "It is said to dwell in the heart of the Whispering Glade. But first, you must overcome 3 trials that test the purity of your heart." The first trial, the frosted lake. Elara followed Thaddeus's directions to a frozen lake surrounded by tall, snow-covered trees. The ice was thick and treacherous, and Elara had to cross it to continue her quest. As she stepped onto the ice, it began to crack and groan. In the middle of the lake, she spotted a riddle carved into the ice. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Elara thought carefully and then answered aloud, "Fire." With her answer, the ice beneath her feet stopped cracking, and a narrow path appeared, leading her safely to the other side. The first trial was complete. The second trial, the enchanted grove. Elara soon arrived at a grove filled with glowing, magical flowers. The grove was beautiful but bewildering. The flowers seemed to hum and dance in the cold wind, creating a maze of shimmering petals. A sign in the center of the grove read, "To pass through, you must find the path of light. Follow the song that leads to the heart." Elara listened closely to the harmonious melody of the flowers and followed the softest, most enchanting tune. As she walked, the flowers seemed to part, guiding her through the maze until she reached the center of the grove. There, a small, sparkling key lay on a pedestal. The third trial, the guardian of the Whispering Glade. Elara continued her journey and finally reached the Whispering Glade, a serene, mystical place with tall trees that seemed to whisper secrets. In the center of the glade stood a majestic, ancient tree with a face carved into its trunk. The tree was the guardian of the glade. "Welcome, Elara," the guardian spoke in a deep, gentle voice. "You have completed the trials, but now you must show that your wish is truly selfless." Elara approached the guardian and spoke from her heart. "My wish is not for myself but for my village. I want to bring prosperity and warmth to those who are suffering from the harsh winter." The guardian listened intently and then nodded. "Your heart is pure, and your wish is selfless. The silver feather will grant your wish, but remember that true magic lies in the kindness you show others." The silver feather appears as the guardian spoke. A soft, shimmering light filled the glade. The silver feather appeared, its plumage sparkling like moonlight on fresh snow. The bird flew gracefully towards Elara, and she reached out, carefully taking the feather in her hand. The moment she held the silver feather, a warm, golden light enveloped the entire Whispering Glade. Elara felt a rush of joy and relief as the magic of the feather began to spread. Returned to the village. Elara hurried back to her village with the silver feather. When she arrived, she found that the feather's magic had already started to work. The snow began to melt, the crops revived, and a sense of warmth and renewal spread through the village. The villagers were overjoyed and amazed at the transformation. They celebrated Elara's bravery and kindness with a grand feast, and the once struggling village now thrived with abundance. Elara's family was immensely proud of her, and the village honored her as a true hero. The silver feather, having fulfilled its purpose, disappeared back into the magical forest, leaving behind a lasting legacy of hope and generosity. A lasting legacy. Years passed, and the story of Elara and the silver feather became a cherished tale told to children around the village. Elara continued to help others, her actions always guided by the selflessness that had brought the silver feather to her. The kingdom flourished, and the forest remained a place of magic and wonder. Elara's legacy was a reminder that the greatest treasures are found in the kindness and love we give to others. And so, the village lived in prosperity and harmony, and the legend of the silver feather lived on as a beacon of hope for all who heard it. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between misty mountains and rolling green fields, there lived a humble clockmaker named Eli. His workshop was filled with the gentle ticking of clocks, each one more intricate and beautiful than the last. Eli was known throughout the land for his skill and precision, but he harbored a secret that few knew. In a hidden compartment of his workshop was a mysterious clock unlike any other. This clock was made of shimmering silver and adorned with tiny, sparkling gemstones. It was said to possess the power to stop time and grant a single wish to the person who could unlock its magic. However, no one had ever managed to make it work, not even Eli himself. One crisp autumn morning, as Eli worked on a delicate pocket watch, a young girl named Eliza entered his shop. Eliza was known for her boundless curiosity and bright spirit. She was always fascinated by the clocks in Eli's workshop and loved to listen to the stories he told about them. "Good morning, Mr. Eli," Eliza greeted cheerfully. "I've always wondered about that special clock over there. Why is it so different from the others?" Eli looked up from his workbench and smiled. "Ah, you've noticed the special clock. It's a very old and mysterious piece. Legend has it that it can stop time and grant a wish, but only if you can solve its puzzle." Eliza's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Can I try to solve it? I'd love to see if the legend is true." Eli hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Very well, but be warned, it's a challenging puzzle. The clock's magic will only reveal itself to those with a pure heart." Eliza approached the clock and examined it closely. It had a series of intricate gears and mechanisms, and the gemstone seemed to shift colors as she moved. Determined to uncover its secret, Eliza began to turn the tiny knobs and press the hidden buttons in a pattern that seemed to match the rhythm of the ticking. Hours passed as Eliza worked on the puzzle, her brow furrowed in concentration. Eli watched with admiration as she continued to solve the clock's enigmatic challenges. Just as the sun began to set, Eliza made a final adjustment. The clock's gemstones glowed brightly, and the hands of the clock began to move backward, then stopped altogether. Suddenly, a soft, golden light enveloped the room, and the clock's face opened to reveal a hidden compartment. Inside was a small, ornate key in a scroll. Eliza carefully took the key and unrolled the scroll, which read, "To stop time and make a wish. You must first find where hearts are missed. Help those in need and show you care. For magic lives in kindness shared." Eliza thought about the scroll's message and realized that to unlock the clock's true power, she needed to help others. She left the shop and set out into the village, searching for those who might need assistance. Her first stop was the home of an elderly woman named Mrs. Harper. Mrs. Harper had recently fallen ill and struggled to tend to her garden. Eliza spent the afternoon helping her with the garden work. And Mrs. Harper was deeply grateful. Next, Eliza visited a young boy named Tom, who had lost his beloved puppy. Eliza helped Tom search the village until they found the puppy playing near the riverbank. Tom's joy and relief were evident, and he thanked Eliza with a big hug. Finally, Eliza came across a family whose home had been damaged by a recent storm. She rallied the villagers to help repair the damage and bring supplies to the family. The community's spirit of cooperation and kindness brought new warmth and hope to the family. With her heart full of joy from helping others, Eliza returned to Eli's workshop. She approached the special clock once more and placed the key into a hidden lock. The clock began to glow brightly, and a soft, melodious chime filled the room. The golden light from the clock grew stronger, and Eli's workshop was bathed in its warm glow. The clock's face revealed a hidden compartment with a beautifully crafted gemstone inside. Eli and Eliza both felt a sense of profound peace and fulfillment. As the magic of the clock flowed through the workshop, Eli turned to Eliza with a smile. "You've unlocked the true magic of the clock. The wish it grants is not for material things but for the heart's deepest desires. Your kindness and compassion have brought joy to many." Eliza beamed with happiness. "I wish for everyone in the village to continue helping one another and to always find joy in giving." The clock's light filled the village with a warm glow, and the spirit of kindness spread throughout Rivendell. The villagers were inspired to support and care for each other more deeply, and the village thrived with newfound unity and joy. From that day on, Eli's shop was filled with the harmonious ticking of the magical clock, a reminder of the power of kindness and the joy that comes from helping others. Eliza's story became a cherished legend, and the village of Rivendell flourished with the magic of compassion and community. Once upon a time, in a lush, green kingdom where the rivers sang and the trees whispered secrets, there was a quaint little village named Willowbrook. This village was home to many extraordinary creatures, but the most remarkable of all was a gentle, wise old tortoise named Tiberius. Tiberius was not just any tortoise, he was the keeper of ancient stories and the guardian of the village's greatest treasure, a magical locket that granted a single wish to whoever possessed it. The locket was kept in a hidden glen at the edge of the enchanted forest, safe from those who might misuse its power. One bright, crisp morning, a curious young girl named Eliza stumbled upon Tiberius while exploring the village. Eliza had always been enchanted by tales of magic and wonder. She had heard whispers of Tiberius's wisdom and the legendary locket but had never seen them with her own eyes. Tiberius, seeing the wonder in Eliza's eyes, decided to share a story. Many years ago, he began, his voice like the rustle of autumn leaves. This village was threatened by a terrible dragon. The dragon demanded a tribute from the villagers every year, and the villagers were growing weary of the constant fear. Eliza's eyes widened. What happened? Well, Tiberius continued, a brave knight named Sir Cedric came to Willowbrook. He was not only skilled with a sword but also known for his kind heart. Sir Cedric sought the locket's help to defeat the dragon, but he knew that using its magic came with a great responsibility. Eliza leaned closer, captivated by the tale. What did he wish for? The locket's magic is not like any ordinary magic, Tiberius explained. It does not grant wishes lightly. Sir Cedric wished for the dragon to be free from its curse, believing that the dragon was not truly evil but rather trapped by dark magic. As Tiberius spoke, the forest around them seemed to listen. The gentle breeze carried his words to every corner, and the leaves shivered in anticipation. Sir Cedric's wish transformed the dragon's heart. The dragon, once fearsome and angry, became gentle and wise. It left the village in peace, and Sir Cedric became a hero not only for his bravery but for his compassion. Eliza thought for a moment, her eyes reflecting the soft light filtering through the trees. So, the locket helped the dragon? Indeed, Tiberius nodded. The dragon's curse was broken, and it found a new home in a faraway land where it lived out its days in harmony. Sir Cedric's wish not only saved the village but changed the dragon's life forever. Eliza was moved by the story. Is the locket still here? Tiberius smiled gently. Yes, but it is hidden in the glen, protected by enchantments that only the pure-hearted can see. The locket's magic is a reminder that true power lies not in controlling others but in understanding and kindness. Inspired by the tale, Eliza felt a surge of courage and compassion. She decided to help the villagers in any way she could. She began by organizing community events, teaching the younger children about bravery and kindness, and spreading stories of hope and friendship. One day, while Eliza was helping an elderly villager with her garden, she noticed a glimmering light near the old oak tree. Curiosity piqued, she followed the light and discovered the hidden glen. There, nestled among the flowers, lay the magical locket. Eliza did not touch it. Instead, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for the lessons Tiberius had shared. She understood that the true magic of the locket was not in the wish it granted but in the spirit of compassion and selflessness it represented. As she walked back to the village, Eliza felt a new sense of purpose. The villagers noticed the change in her, and her actions inspired others to join her in making Willowbrook a place of harmony and joy. Years later, the story of Eliza and the magical locket became a beloved tale in Willowbrook. The village thrived, not because of any single wish but because of the collective kindness and bravery of its people. And Tiberius, the wise old tortoise, continued to tell stories, always reminding the villagers of the true magic that lay within their hearts. And so, the tale of Eliza and the locket lived on, a reminder that the greatest magic of all is the power to bring about goodness and change in the world. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in the bustling town of Bramblebrook, there was a humble clockmaker named Eamon. Eamon was known for his skill in crafting the finest timepieces, each clock meticulously made with gears that turned in perfect harmony. His shop, nestled at the corner of a cobblestone street, was filled with clocks of all shapes and sizes, their ticking creating a soothing melody that filled the air. Despite his talent, Eamon led a quiet and solitary life. His only companion was a small, wooden bird perched on the windowsill of his workshop. The bird, a silver sparrow carved by Eamon himself, was his pride and joy. Though the bird was only made of wood and silver, Eamon often found himself talking to it as if it were alive. He would wind it up each morning, and the sparrow would chirp a sweet, mechanical tune. One chilly autumn evening, as Eamon was closing his shop, he noticed a peculiar shimmer in the air. He followed the glimmer to the edge of town, where he found an old, crumbling well hidden beneath a tangle of vines. As he peered into the well, he saw something glinting at the bottom, a small, glowing key. Curiosity getting the better of him, Eamon carefully retrieved the key from the well. It was unlike any key he had ever seen, with intricate designs etched into its surface and a soft, warm glow emanating from it. He turned it over in his hands, wondering what it could unlock. That night, Eamon placed the key on his workbench and went to bed, his thoughts filled with the mystery of the strange find. As he slept, a soft, silver light filled his workshop, and the silver sparrow began to stir. The tiny bird stretched its wings and fluttered off the windowsill, its eyes now glowing with life. The key, too, began to glow brighter, as if in response to the sparrow's awakening. The next morning, Eamon awoke to the sound of soft chirping. Rubbing his eyes, he was astonished to see the silver sparrow flitting about his workshop, its wings moving gracefully as if it were a living creature. The little bird landed on his shoulder and chirped a cheerful tune, as if greeting him. Eamon could hardly believe his eyes. You're alive," he exclaimed, reaching out to gently stroke the sparrow's silver feathers. The bird nuzzled against his hand, its eyes filled with warmth and affection. Realizing that the key must have something to do with this magical transformation, Eamon picked it up and examined it once more. The sparrow chirped excitedly, as if urging him to follow. Trusting the bird, Eamon slipped the key into his pocket and set out on a journey, the sparrow perched on his shoulder. The sparrow led Eamon deep into the heart of the Whispering Woods, a forest known for its ancient trees and hidden secrets. As they ventured deeper into the woods, the trees began to part, revealing a hidden path that glowed with the same soft light as the key. After hours of walking, they arrived at a large, ornate gate made of silver and gold, overgrown with ivy and moss. The gate was adorned with carvings of birds, flowers, and stars, and at its center was a keyhole that matched the size and shape of the glowing key. With a sense of anticipation, Eamon inserted the key into the gate and turned it. The gate creaked open, revealing a magnificent garden bathed in silver light. The garden was filled with vibrant flowers, sparkling fountains, and trees that glistened with dew that shimmered like diamonds. In the center of the garden stood a grand clock tower, its face glowing with the same magical light. The silver sparrow flew ahead, leading Eamon to the base of the clock tower. As they approached, the clock tower chimed, its sound resonating through the air like a melody of bells. Eamon noticed an inscription on the base of the tower. "To those who find the key and the heart of the silver sparrow, the gift of time shall be yours, and the forgotten shall be remembered." Suddenly, the sparrow flew into the clock tower, and as it did, the entire garden began to glow even brighter. The flowers bloomed in vibrant colors, the fountains bubbled with fresh, sparkling water, and the trees rustled with a gentle breeze. The garden, once forgotten, was now alive with magic. Eamon felt a warmth in his heart as he realized the true meaning of the inscription. The silver sparrow, born from his love and care, had guided him to this enchanted place where time itself was cherished and preserved. In return, the garden had granted him a gift of time, not just for himself, but for the memories of those who had been forgotten. From that day on, Eamon's clocks no longer merely told time. They became magical instruments that captured moments and memories, preserving them in a way that kept them alive forever. The people of Bramblebrook soon noticed that their lives felt fuller, their memories more vivid, and their hearts lighter, all thanks to the clocks crafted by Eamon's skilled hands. As for the Silver Sparrow, it remained in the garden, watching over the clock tower and the magical land within. Eamon would visit often, bringing with him new stories, new memories, and new love, which the garden would preserve for all eternity. And so, Eamon's story spread far and wide, reminding everyone that time is not just measured by hours and minutes, but by the love and memories we create. The tale of the Silver Sparrow and the Enchanted Garden became a cherished legend, passed down through generations, ensuring that the forgotten would always be remembered. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the sky was always painted with a breathtaking display of stars, there was a hidden valley known only to a few. This valley was called the Celestial Vale, and it was home to a magical artifact known as the Starry Compass. The compass was said to have the power to guide anyone to their heart's deepest desire, but only if they could solve its ancient riddle. In a bustling village near the edge of the valley, there lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his insatiable curiosity. He loved exploring the woods and rivers around his village, but he had always dreamed of finding the legendary Starry Compass. He believed it could help him discover his true purpose in life. One crisp, clear evening, as the stars began to twinkle brightly in the night sky, Finn decided it was time to embark on his greatest adventure yet. With a sturdy backpack, a warm cloak, and a small lantern, he set off toward the Celestial Vale. The journey to the Vale was long and challenging. Finn had to navigate through thick forests, climb steep hills, and cross sparkling streams. As he ventured deeper into the wilderness, the constellations above seemed to shimmer more intensely, as if they were guiding him on his path. After many days of travel, Finn finally arrived at the entrance to the Celestial Vale. The entrance was marked by two towering stone pillars, each adorned with intricate carvings of celestial bodies. Beyond the pillars lay a vast, open meadow bathed in moonlight. In the center of the meadow stood an ancient stone pedestal, upon which rested the Starry Compass. The compass was a magnificent creation, its face encrusted with sparkling gems that mirrored the night sky. However, it did not point north. Instead, its needle spun in a slow, graceful dance, and an inscription on the pedestal read, "To find your true path, you must solve the riddle of the stars. Listen closely to their whispers, and the way will become clear." Finn took a deep breath and looked up at the stars. The night sky was alive with patterns and constellations. He remembered stories his grandmother had told him about the stars, each one a guide and a storyteller in its own right. He focused on the stars, trying to decipher their whispers. As he pondered, a gentle breeze rustled through the meadow, and Finn heard a faint melody carried on the wind. It was a soft, harmonious tune that seemed to come from the stars themselves. Finn realized that the stars were not just providing a map but were also guiding him with their music. Following the melody, Finn noticed that the tune changed as he moved. It became more distinct as he approached a particular constellation in the sky. He followed the direction indicated by the melody and found himself at the base of a large oak tree, its branches reaching toward the heavens. Beneath the tree was a small, hidden grove. In the center of the grove was an ancient, stone archway with symbols that matched those on the compass. Finn understood that the archway was a key to solving the riddle. He stepped through the archway, and the grove seemed to come alive with light and music. The compass's needle began to spin more rapidly, and a soft, glowing light emerged from the center of the grove. Finn followed the light, which led him to a small, ornate chest hidden beneath the roots of the oak tree. He opened the chest and found a delicate, star-shaped locket inside. The locket held a tiny, shimmering star that seemed to pulse with life. Finn realized that the locket was the heart of the Starry Compass. He took it and placed it gently on the pedestal. As he did, the compass's needle finally settled and pointed toward a distant mountain peak. Finn knew that the compass was leading him to something important. With renewed determination, he set out toward the mountain. The climb was arduous, but Finn's heart was filled with hope and excitement. At the summit, he found a breathtaking view of the entire valley below, illuminated by the soft glow of the stars. The locket's light grew brighter, and Finn felt a profound sense of connection to the universe and his own heart's desire. He realized that the true purpose of the starry compass was not just to show him a destination but to help him understand his own journey and the beauty of following his dreams. With this newfound wisdom, Finn returned to his village, carrying the locket as a symbol of his adventure. He shared the story of the starry compass and the lesson he had learned, that the path to one's true purpose is often illuminated by the stars and guided by the heart's deepest wishes. The villagers were inspired by Finn's journey, and the legend of the starry compass became a cherished tale in their community. Finn continued to explore and help others find their own paths, always guided by the light of his star-shaped locket. And so, Finn's adventure in the Celestial Vale became a beloved story, a reminder that the journey to one's dreams is as important as the destination, and that sometimes, the stars are the best guides of all. In the tranquil kingdom of Luminera, nestled between emerald hills and sparkling lakes, there was a small village known for its peacefulness and harmony. The villagers lived simple lives, their days filled with laughter and joy. However, the kingdom had one mystery that intrigued everyone: the legend of the starling's gift. The legend spoke of a magical starling bird that appeared only once every century. This bird was said to possess a dazzling feather that could grant one extraordinary wish to anyone who found it. The legend had become a source of hope and dreams for the villagers, who often gathered around the old oak tree in the village square to share stories and sing songs about the elusive starling. In this village lived a young girl named Elowen, known for her kindness and adventurous spirit. Elowen was fascinated by the legend of the starling's gift and often dreamed of finding the magical bird. She believed that if she could find it, she could make a wish to bring everlasting happiness to her village. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky was painted with hues of pink and purple, Elowen noticed a bright light flickering in the distance. The light seemed to dance and shimmer like a beacon. Determined to uncover its source, she decided to follow it. Guided by the flickering light, Elowen ventured into the enchanted forest that bordered the village. The forest was known for its mystical creatures and magical flora. As she walked deeper into the woods, the air grew cooler, and the light grew brighter, illuminating the path with a soft, golden glow. After walking for what felt like hours, Elowen reached a serene clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood a majestic tree with silver leaves that glistened like stars. Perched on one of the branches was the starling, its feathers sparkling with an ethereal glow that illuminated the entire clearing. Elowen approached the starling with awe and respect. The bird's eyes, filled with ancient wisdom, met hers. As she stepped closer, the starling began to sing a melodious tune, filling the air with a sense of tranquility and wonder. Elowen listened to the song, feeling a deep connection with the magic of the moment. When the starling finished its song, it fluttered down gracefully and perched on Elowen's shoulder. It then gently presented her with a single, shimmering feather. Elowen's heart swelled with gratitude as she accepted the feather, knowing that her wish could soon come true. Before she left, the starling spoke in a soft, melodic voice. "The gift you seek lies not only in the wish but in the heart of the one who makes it. True magic comes from the love and selflessness with which you use it." With the feather safely tucked in her hand, Elowen made her way back to the village. The journey home seemed shorter, the forest paths illuminated by the gentle light of the starling's magic. As she arrived at the village, the villagers gathered around, their faces filled with anticipation. Elowen held up the feather and spoke. "I found the starling and received this magical feather. I wish for our village to be blessed with joy, peace, and prosperity, so that we may always live in harmony." The moment Elowen made her wish, the feather began to glow brightly, and a soft breeze carried its magic throughout the village. The air filled with a sweet fragrance, and the village was bathed in a warm, golden light. The crops flourished, the river sparkled, and the villagers felt a renewed sense of happiness and unity. The magical transformation lasted for generations, and the story of Elowen and the starling's gift became a cherished legend in Luminera. The village thrived, its people forever grateful for the kindness and bravery of one young girl who had sought to make the world a better place. And so, the legend of the starling's gift lived on, a reminder that true magic is found in the selfless heart of those who seek to spread joy and love. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a young girl named Alara. She was known throughout the village for her kindness and curiosity. Her most treasured possession was an old lantern that had been passed down through her family for generations. It was said that the lantern had magical properties, but no one knew for sure. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, Alara decided to take a walk into the forest. She carried the lantern with her, hoping its soft glow would guide her through the twilight. As she ventured deeper into the woods, the trees seemed to lean in closer, their leaves rustling softly as if whispering secrets. Suddenly, the lantern's light flickered and shone brighter than usual. Alara followed the illuminated path and soon came upon a clearing she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood a grand oak tree, its trunk wide and gnarled, with branches that stretched towards the sky like ancient arms. Beneath the tree was a small, ornate door, barely visible among the roots. The door was covered in delicate carvings of stars and moons, and at its center was a shimmering keyhole. Alara's heart raced with excitement. She took the key from her lantern and, though it was not a perfect fit, she felt compelled to try it. She inserted the key into the keyhole, and with a gentle turn, the door creaked open. Beyond the door lay a hidden realm, a magical world bathed in a soft, golden light. As Alara stepped through, she found herself in a breathtaking meadow filled with flowers that seemed to sing and dance in the gentle breeze. In the distance, she saw a majestic castle made of crystal, its spires reaching up like delicate icicles. Before she could take another step, a figure appeared from behind a flowering hedge. It was a small, graceful fairy with shimmering wings and a crown of daisies. The fairy's name was Lyra, and she greeted Alara with a warm smile. "Welcome, Alara," Lyra said in a voice that tinkled like chimes. "I am the guardian of the enchanted realm. We've been expecting you." Alara's eyes widened in wonder. "Me? But why?" Lyra's smile grew brighter. "Long ago, your ancestors helped to protect this realm from darkness. Now, the magic that binds our world is waning, and we need your help to restore it." Lyra explained that the source of the realm's magic was a beautiful, ancient tree known as the Heartwood Tree. It was located deep within the castle, but a powerful enchantment had trapped its magic. To break the enchantment, they needed a pure heart and the light of the lantern. Alara nodded, determined to help. With Lyra leading the way, they journeyed through the meadow, their path illuminated by the lantern's glow. They reached the castle and entered its gleaming halls. At the very heart of the castle stood the Heartwood Tree, its branches twisted and darkened, and its leaves lifeless. Lyra instructed Alara to hold the lantern high. As Alara did, the lantern's light began to pulse and swirl, casting a brilliant radiance over the Heartwood Tree. The tree's bark started to glow, and slowly, its leaves regained their vibrant hues. The enchantment was lifting, and the Heartwood Tree began to flourish once more. A warm breeze swept through the castle, and the once-dim realm sparkled with renewed vitality. The flowers sang even more joyfully, and the crystal castle shimmered with 1,000 colors. The magic was restored, and the realm was vibrant and alive again. Lyra beamed at Alara. "You've done it. You've saved our world. Thank you." Alara felt a deep sense of fulfillment and happiness. She knew that she had been part of something truly magical. As a token of their gratitude, Lyra handed Alara a small, glowing gem. "This is a piece of our magic," she explained. "Whenever you need guidance or strength, it will light your path." With a final farewell, Alara returned to the village, her heart full of wonder and gratitude. The lantern had led her on an extraordinary adventure, and she knew she would always cherish the memory. From that day on, whenever the villagers asked about the lantern's magic, Alara would smile and say, "Sometimes, the greatest magic is found in the courage to follow your heart." And so, the enchanted lantern continued to glow softly in Alara's home, a reminder of the incredible journey she had once taken and the magic that lay just beyond the ordinary world. And they all lived happily ever after. The Sapphire Crown. Once upon a time, in a realm where emerald forests met sparkling lakes and majestic mountains, there was a hidden kingdom known as Eloria. Eloria was a land of wonders, protected by ancient magic and ruled by a wise and kind queen named Seraphina. The queen was loved by all, but her greatest treasure was the Sapphire Crown, a magical artifact that bestowed peace and prosperity upon the kingdom. However, a dark cloud loomed over Eloria when the Sapphire Crown was stolen by a cunning sorceress named Morgana. Morgana, envious of Eloria's harmony, believed that by possessing the crown, she could wield its power and plunge the realm into chaos. With the crown in her possession, Morgana fled to the Shadow Mountains, a treacherous place filled with dark enchantments. Queen Seraphina, though heartbroken, knew that the only way to restore balance was to retrieve the crown. The brave heart of Eloria. In the kingdom, there lived a young shepherd named Leo. Leo was known for his bravery and kind heart, qualities that made him beloved by both people and animals. When he learned of the queen's plight, he felt a deep sense of responsibility to help. With a heart full of courage, Leo volunteered to embark on the quest to retrieve the Sapphire Crown. Queen Seraphina, recognizing Leo's noble spirit, granted him a special gift, a cloak of invisibility and a map that would guide him through the Shadow Mountains. With these tools, Leo set off on his journey, determined to recover the crown and save his kingdom. The journey begins. The path to the Shadow Mountains was fraught with challenges. Leo encountered dense fog, towering cliffs, and tricky illusions. As he navigated the treacherous terrain, he met various magical beings, including a talking fox named Felix and a wise old owl named Athena. Felix, who was known for his cleverness, offered Leo a riddle: "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Leo thought carefully and answered, "A joke." Felix, impressed by Leo's wit, shared a secret passage that would make Leo's journey easier. He also warned Leo of Morgana's powerful minions who guarded the entrance to her lair. Athena, the owl, provided Leo with guidance on how to use the cloak of invisibility to avoid detection and reach Morgana's fortress. She also gave him a special feather that could reveal hidden truths. The Fortress of Shadows. When Leo arrived at Morgana's fortress, he found it surrounded by dark magic and guarded by formidable creatures. Using his cloak of invisibility, Leo stealthily made his way inside the fortress. He followed the map and the clues provided by Felix and Athena, finding his way to the inner sanctum where Morgana kept the Sapphire Crown. As Leo approached the crown, Morgana appeared, her eyes glowing with malevolent power. She sneered at Leo, sensing the bravery in his heart. "You think you can take the crown from me? It's protected by powerful enchantments," she taunted. The final confrontation. Leo, though afraid, stood his ground. He used the feather Athena had given him to reveal the true nature of the enchantments. The feather illuminated hidden weaknesses in the magical barriers protecting the crown. With this knowledge, Leo carefully navigated the enchantments and reached the Sapphire Crown. Just as he was about to take the crown, Morgana cast a powerful spell to stop him. But Leo, using the cloak of invisibility in his quick thinking, managed to evade the spell and retrieve the crown. As he held it, the magical energy from the crown began to restore the fortress to its original, beautiful state. The return to Eloria. With the Sapphire Crown safely in hand, Leo made his way back to Eloria. The kingdom rejoiced at his return, and Queen Seraphina was overjoyed to see the crown restored. The crown's magic once again blessed the land with peace and prosperity. Morgana's power diminished, and she was eventually banished from the realm, never to return. The kingdom celebrated Leo's bravery and selflessness with a grand feast, and he was honored as a hero. A new legacy. Leo's adventure became a beloved story in Eloria, a tale of courage and kindness. The Sapphire Crown continued to shine with its magical light, symbolizing the hope and strength of the kingdom. And Leo, having proven himself as a true hero, lived a life filled with honor and friendship. And so, Eloria remained a land of peace and prosperity, forever blessed by the bravery of one extraordinary young shepherd and the magic of the Sapphire Crown. Once upon a time, in a land where the sky was always painted in twilight hues and the stars seemed to whisper secrets to the moon, there was a magical glen known as the Starfield. This glen was renowned for its breathtaking beauty and the mystical flowers that bloomed only once every 100 years. These flowers were known as starflowers, and they were said to possess the power to grant a single wish to anyone who found them. In a cozy village nestled at the edge of the starfield, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Amara. She was known for her generosity and her love for animals. Her greatest wish was to help her village, which was suffering from a prolonged drought. She had heard stories of the starflower's magic and decided that if she could find one, she could wish for rain to save her village. One crisp evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to twinkle, Amara set out on her quest. She followed a silver path of moonlight that led into the heart of the starfield. The forest was bathed in a soft glow, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of night-blooming flowers. As Amara ventured deeper, she noticed that the forest was filled with creatures she had never seen before: tiny glowing fireflies, wise old owls with shimmering feathers, and playful moon rabbits that hopped around in the underbrush. They seemed to be guiding her on her journey. After walking for a while, Amara reached a clearing where the starflowers were rumored to bloom. The clearing was bathed in an otherworldly light, and in the center, she saw a large, ancient tree with silver leaves. Beneath the tree were a few delicate starflowers, their petals glowing like tiny stars. Amara carefully approached the starflowers, but just as she was about to reach out, a gentle, musical voice spoke from the shadows. "Who dares to seek the starflower?" Amara looked up and saw a graceful fairy hovering near the tree. The fairy's wings sparkled like stardust, and her eyes were filled with curiosity. "I am Amara," she said bravely. "I seek the starflower to save my village from the drought. I wish to bring rain to our land." The fairy's expression softened. "The starflower grants a single wish to those who seek it with a pure heart. But first, you must prove your worth. Complete 3 challenges, and then you may ask for your wish." Amara nodded, determined to help her village. The fairy explained the first challenge: you must find the moonstone, a gem that hides in the depths of the Whispering Lake. The lake is guarded by an ancient water spirit. Amara made her way to the Whispering Lake, its surface shimmering under the moonlight. The water spirit, a gentle creature with flowing blue hair and eyes like deep pools, emerged from the lake. "I seek the moonstone to fulfill a quest," Amara said respectfully. The water spirit examined Amara's heart and, seeing her sincerity, handed her the moonstone. The second challenge was to find the golden feather, which was hidden atop the highest peak of the Misty Mountains. Amara climbed the steep slopes, using her wits and courage to navigate the treacherous paths. At the summit, she found the golden feather nestled in a nest guarded by a majestic eagle. The eagle, seeing Amara's bravery and respect for nature, allowed her to take the feather. The final challenge was the most difficult. She had to solve the riddle of the stars, which was inscribed on a stone tablet near the starflowers. The riddle read, "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Amara pondered the riddle carefully, thinking about the many stories and games she had enjoyed. Then she smiled as she realized the answer. "A joke," she said aloud. The stone tablet glowed brightly, and the fairy appeared once more, impressed by Amara's perseverance and wisdom. "You have completed the challenges with a pure heart. Now, you may make your wish." Amara took a deep breath and made her wish. "I wish for rain to fall upon my village and restore its land." The fairy nodded and waved her wand. In an instant, the sky over the village darkened with rain clouds, and gentle rain began to fall, soaking the parched earth and reviving the crops. Amara returned to her village as the rain continued to fall, bringing joy and relief to everyone. The villagers celebrated her bravery and the magic of the starflower that had saved them. And so, the land flourished once again, thanks to the kindness and determination of a girl who believed in the power of magic and the goodness of her heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a faraway cloud, there lived a little raindrop named Drizzle. Drizzle was not like the other raindrops. While the others were content to stay in the cloud and wait for their turn to fall to earth, Drizzle was full of curiosity. It often looked down at the world below, wondering what it would be like to visit all the exciting places it could see from the sky. "Why do you want to leave?" asked Splash, one of the bigger raindrops. The cloud is safe and cozy. There's no need to go anywhere. But don't you wonder what's down there? Drizzle replied, pointing toward the mountains, forests, and rivers far below. I want to see the tall trees, the sparkling rivers, and the colorful flowers. The other raindrops shook their heads. It's dangerous down there, they said. You don't know what will happen if you leave the cloud. But Drizzle's curiosity was too strong. One day, when the wind blew gently through the sky, Drizzle decided it was time to go on an adventure. It closed its eyes, took a deep breath, and leaped out of the cloud. Down, down, down Drizzle fell, through the cool air, feeling the wind rush past. As Drizzle neared the ground, it saw a beautiful green forest. The trees were tall and majestic, their leaves rustling in the breeze. Drizzle was thrilled and couldn't wait to explore. It landed softly on a leaf, bouncing gently before settling down. "Hello there," said a friendly voice. Drizzle looked around and saw a tiny caterpillar crawling on the same leaf. "Hi," Drizzle replied. "I'm Drizzle. I just came from the sky. What is this place?" "This is my home," said the caterpillar. "It's a big, wonderful forest full of life. The trees are our guardians, and the plants and flowers are our friends." Drizzle was amazed. The forest was even more beautiful up close than it had imagined. But as the day went on, something strange began to happen. The sun came out, shining brightly in the sky. Drizzle started to feel warm, too warm. It began to shrink. "Oh no!" Drizzle cried. "What's happening to me?" The caterpillar looked at Drizzle and said, "You're evaporating. When the sun gets hot, water like you turns into vapor and floats back up into the sky." Drizzle was scared. "But I don't want to disappear. I haven't seen everything yet." "Don't worry," the caterpillar said with a gentle smile. "You won't disappear forever. You'll just change form. And who knows? You might return to the earth as a raindrop again one day." As the sun's warmth continued to pull Drizzle upward, it began to feel light as a feather. Slowly, it rose into the sky, turning into vapor. Drizzle floated higher and higher until it became part of a new cloud, drifting across the sky once more. Back in the cloud, Drizzle met other raindrops who had gone on similar adventures. They shared stories of where they had fallen, some into oceans, some onto mountains, and others into rivers and lakes. Each raindrop had a unique story, and Drizzle listened eagerly, imagining all the places it could visit next. Time passed, and one day, the wind began to stir the clouds again. Drizzle knew what this meant. It was time for another adventure. This time, Drizzle wasn't scared. It knew that no matter what happened, it would always come back to the sky, ready for a new journey. When the wind finally pushed the cloud across a wide desert, Drizzle decided to jump again. Down it fell, through the warm air, until it landed on the soft sand. The desert was hot and dry, with golden dunes stretching as far as the eye could see. Drizzle saw a small flower struggling to grow in the dry sand. It was wilting under the harsh sun. Without hesitation, Drizzle rolled down the sand and nestled at the base of the flower, giving it a much-needed drink of water. "Thank you, little raindrop," the flower whispered. "You saved me." Drizzle smiled, feeling proud. It may have been small, but it had made a big difference. As the sun rose higher, Drizzle knew it would soon evaporate again. But this time, it wasn't afraid. It had learned that every drop of water has its own important role to play in the world, whether in the sky, the forest, or even the desert. As Drizzle floated back up into the sky, it looked down at the earth with a sense of wonder. There were so many places to explore and so many ways to help. Drizzle realized that its curiosity had led it to discover the true beauty of the world and its place in it. And so, Drizzle continued to fall and rise, over and over again, each time in a new place, each time learning something new. The little raindrop that had once been curious and scared had now become brave and wise, ready for whatever adventure awaited next. The end. Once upon a time, in the magical realm of Viridia, there was a quaint village named Inkwell, famous for its scholars and scribes. The village was nestled at the foot of the Misty Mountains, where legends spoke of hidden treasures and enchanted artifacts. Among the villagers was a young girl named Lyra, who dreamed of becoming the greatest storyteller in all of Viridia. Lyra lived with her father, a humble scribe who taught her to read and write. Despite their modest means, Lyra's father always encouraged her to follow her dreams. He often told her tales of the enchanted quill, a magical quill said to have the power to bring stories to life. According to legend, the quill was hidden in the heart of the Misty Mountains, guarded by ancient enchantments and mythical creatures. One crisp autumn morning, as Lyra was helping her father organize his manuscripts, a mysterious traveler arrived in Inkwell. He was an old man with a long, flowing beard and eyes that twinkled with wisdom. He introduced himself as Orion, a wandering sage, and spoke of a great prophecy. A young scribe with a heart full of stories will find the enchanted quill and use its magic to save Viridia. Lyra's heart raced with excitement. She knew that she was the one destined to find the quill. With her father's blessing and Orion's guidance, Lyra set out on her journey, determined to uncover the legendary artifact. As she entered the Misty Mountains, Lyra encountered her first challenge, a dense, enchanted forest that seemed to have no end. The trees whispered secrets, and the path ahead was shrouded in fog. Remembering her father's lessons, Lyra took out her journal and began to write a story about a brave girl who could see through the fog with the light of her heart. As she wrote, her words came to life, and the fog lifted, revealing a clear path. Lyra continued her journey until she reached a rushing river, its waters too wild to cross. On the riverbank sat a wise old tortoise named Terran, who greeted her with a knowing smile. "To cross the river, you must answer a riddle," he said. "What is always in front of you but cannot be seen?" Lyra thought for a moment, then replied, "The future." Terran nodded in approval and revealed a hidden bridge that allowed Lyra to cross the river safely. On the other side, Lyra found herself at the entrance of a dark, winding cave. The cave was said to be the home of Nox, a fearsome dragon who guarded the enchanted quill. Summoning all her courage, Lyra ventured into the cave, where she was met by Nox's fiery breath and piercing eyes. "Why do you seek the enchanted quill?" Nox demanded, his voice echoing through the cavern. Lyra stood tall and replied, "I seek the quill to bring my stories to life and to save Viridia from the darkness that threatens it. My heart is pure, and my intentions are true." Nox studied her for a moment before nodding. "You have the heart of a true storyteller," he said. "But to claim the quill, you must pass one final test. Write a story that will touch my heart and prove your worthiness." Lyra sat down and, with trembling hands, began to write. She wrote about a lonely dragon who longed for friendship and a brave girl who saw the goodness within him. As she wrote, her words shimmered with magic, and the story unfolded before Nox's eyes. Tears glistened in Nox's eyes as he read her tale. "You have touched my heart, Lyra," he said. "The enchanted quill is yours." Nox led her to a hidden chamber deep within the cave, where the enchanted quill rested on a pedestal of crystal. The quill was more beautiful than Lyra had ever imagined, its feathers glimmering with a magical light. She took the quill with reverence, feeling its power coursing through her. With the enchanted quill in hand, Lyra returned to Inkwell, where she was greeted with joy and celebration. Using the quill's magic, she wrote stories that brought hope and happiness to the people of Viridia. Her tales of bravery, kindness, and friendship came to life, transforming the kingdom and banishing the darkness that had threatened it. Lyra's father watched with pride as his daughter's dreams came true. And Orion, the wandering sage, smiled, knowing that the prophecy had been fulfilled. From that day on, Lyra was known as the greatest storyteller in all of Viridia. The enchanted quill remained a symbol of the magic that lies within every heart and the power of stories to change the world. And so, the kingdom of Viridia lived happily ever after, forever grateful to the young girl who used her words to weave a brighter future. The end. Once upon a time, in the enchanting kingdom of Lyria, there was a mysterious forest known as the Whispering Woods. This forest was renowned for its ancient trees that were said to whisper secrets and for the legendary Whispering Willow, a majestic tree believed to grant one wish to those who approached it with a heart full of courage and kindness. The Whispering Willow was hidden deep within the forest and could only be found during the harvest moon, when the sky was lit by a golden glow. In a quaint village nestled on the edge of the forest lived a brave and kind-hearted girl named Clara. Clara was known for her love of animals and her adventurous spirit. Her closest companion was a wise and loyal owl named Orion, who had a knack for finding hidden paths and solving riddles. One crisp autumn evening, as the harvest moon began to rise, Clara and Orion discovered a golden, engraved compass hidden beneath a pile of colorful leaves. The compass had intricate designs and a note that read, "The Whispering Willow awaits. Follow the compass on the harvest moon to unlock its magic." Determined to find the Whispering Willow and make a wish, Clara and Orion set out on their journey. The path to the Whispering Woods was illuminated by the golden light of the harvest moon and the soft glow of fireflies. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they encountered the first challenge, the Grove of Echoes. In this grove, the trees echoed with mysterious whispers, and the path was obscured by thick fog. To proceed, Clara and Orion had to follow the echoes of a melodic tune that would lead them through the fog. Orion perched on Clara's shoulder and listened intently to the whispers, while Clara used the compass to guide them. They carefully followed the melody through the fog and soon emerged into a clear, moonlit clearing. The second challenge was the Bridge of Light. This was a shimmering bridge made of glowing strands of moonlight that spanned across a deep chasm. To cross the bridge, they needed to solve a puzzle by aligning the strands of light in a specific pattern. Clara and Orion worked together to arrange the strands according to the patterns they observed. As they completed the puzzle, the bridge's glow intensified, allowing them to safely cross the chasm and reach the final challenge. The last challenge was the Garden of Whispers. In this garden, the flowers were said to hold the secrets of the forest. To find the Whispering Willow, Clara and Orion had to answer a riddle posed by the garden's guardian, a gentle, ethereal spirit. "I am not alive, but I can grow. I don't have eyes, but you can see me. I don't have a voice, but I can speak. What am I?" Clara thought carefully and then answered, "A shadow." The guardian smiled and the flowers in the garden began to glow, revealing a hidden path that led them to the Whispering Willow. At the center of the garden stood the magnificent Whispering Willow, its branches adorned with glowing leaves that rustled softly in the breeze. To make their wish, Clara and Orion needed to speak their true intentions with sincerity. Clara approached the tree and spoke from her heart, "I wish for the happiness and prosperity of everyone in Lyria. I want to see our village and our land thrive with peace and joy." As Clara's wish was spoken, the Whispering Willow's branches glowed brightly, and a gentle, magical light spread throughout the forest and beyond. The golden light of the harvest moon seemed to shine even brighter, and the whispers of the forest carried Clara's wish across the land. When Clara and Orion returned to their village, they found it transformed. The fields were abundant with crops, the animals were healthy and joyful, and the people were filled with a deep sense of contentment and harmony. The story of Clara and Orion's adventure and the magic of the Whispering Willow became a beloved tale in Lyria. It reminded everyone of the importance of courage, kindness, and the power of selfless wishes. And so, the Whispering Woods continued to be a place of magic and wonder, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the harvest moon. The end. In the tranquil kingdom of Luminera, nestled between emerald hills and sparkling lakes, there was a small village known for its peacefulness and harmony. The villagers lived simple lives, their days filled with laughter and joy. However, the kingdom had one mystery that intrigued everyone: the legend of the starling's gift. The legend spoke of a magical starling bird that appeared only once every century. This bird was said to possess a dazzling feather that could grant one extraordinary wish to anyone who found it. The legend had become a source of hope and dreams for the villagers, who often gathered around the old oak tree in the village square to share stories and sing psalms about the elusive starling. In this village lived a young girl named Eloan, known for her kindness and adventurous spirit. Eloan was fascinated by the legend of the starling's gift and often dreamed of finding the magical bird. She believed that if she could find it, she could make a wish to bring everlasting happiness to her village. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky was painted with hues of pink and purple, Aloan noticed a bright light flickering in the distance. The light seemed to dance and shimmer like a beacon. Determined to uncover its source, she decided to follow it. Guided by the flickering light, Aloan ventured into the enchanted forest that bordered the village. The forest was known for its mystical creatures and magical flora. As she walked deeper into the woods, the air grew cooler, and the light grew brighter, illuminating the path with a soft, golden glow. After walking for what felt like hours, Aloan reached a serene clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood a majestic tree with silver leaves that glistened like stars. Perched on one of the branches was the starling, its feathers sparkling with an ethereal glow that illuminated the entire clearing. Aloan approached the starling with awe and respect. The bird's eyes, filled with ancient wisdom, met hers. As she stepped closer, the starling began to sing a melodious tune, filling the air with a sense of tranquility and wonder. Aloan listened to the song, feeling a deep connection with the magic of the moment. When the starling finished its song, it fluttered down gracefully and perched on Aloan's shoulder. It then gently presented her with a single, shimmering feather. Aloan's heart swelled with gratitude as she accepted the feather, knowing that her wish could soon come true. Before she left, the starling spoke in a soft, melodic voice. "The gift you seek lies not only in the wish but in the heart of the one who makes it. True magic comes from the love and selflessness with which you use it." With the feather safely tucked in her hand, Aloan made her way back to the village. The journey home seemed shorter, the forest paths illuminated by the gentle light of the starling's magic. As she arrived at the village, the villagers gathered around, their faces filled with anticipation. Aloan held up the feather and spoke. "I found the starling and received this magical feather. I wish for our village to be blessed with joy, peace, and prosperity, so that we may always live in harmony." The moment Aloan made her wish, the feather began to glow brightly, and a soft breeze carried its magic throughout the village. The air filled with a sweet fragrance, and the village was bathed in a warm, golden light. The crops flourished, the river sparkled, and the villagers felt a renewed sense of happiness and unity. The magical transformation lasted for generations, and the story of Aloan and the starling's gift became a cherished legend in Luminera. The village thrived, its people forever grateful for the kindness and bravery of one young girl who had sought to make the world a better place. And so, the legend of the starling's gift lived on, a reminder that true magic is found in the selfless heart of those who seek to spread joy and love. Once upon a time, in the picturesque kingdom of Evergreen, there was a hidden sanctuary known as the Glimmering Grove. This grove was famous for its radiant, moonlit flowers in the Heartstone, a magical gem said to grant one wish to those who approached it with a heart full of love and kindness. The Heartstone was concealed deep within the grove and was only revealed during the night of stars, when the sky was filled with shimmering constellations. In a cozy cottage on the edge of Evergreen lived a gentle and imaginative girl named Amelia. Amelia was beloved in her village for her kindness and her love of animals. Her best friend was a curious and clever rabbit named Thistle, who was known for his quick thinking and ability to find hidden paths. One evening, as the night of stars approached, Amelia and Thistle discovered a beautifully crafted, silver locket buried beneath a flowering vine in their garden. Inside the locket was a sparkling, crystal key in a note that read, "The Glimmering Grove awaits. Use this key on the night of stars to unlock the Heartstone's magic." Excited by the prospect of finding the Heartstone and making a wish, Amelia and Thistle set out on their journey under the starlit sky. The path to the Glimmering Grove was bathed in the soft light of the stars, guiding them deeper into the forest. As they entered the grove, they were greeted by the magical beauty of the moonlit flowers and the soothing sound of a gentle breeze. However, the path to the Heartstone was guarded by 3 enchanting challenges. The first challenge was the Bridge of Lanterns. This was a bridge made of glowing lanterns that floated above a sparkling river. The lanterns shifted and changed color, and they needed to follow the correct sequence to cross the bridge. Thistle used his sharp eyes to observe the patterns of the lanterns, while Amelia carefully followed his directions. They made their way across the bridge, which shimmered brightly as they stepped on the correct lanterns. On the other side of the river, they faced the second challenge, the Labyrinth of Echoes. They entered a maze of tall, whispering hedges that seemed to change direction as they moved. To find their way out, they needed to listen carefully to the whispers and follow the correct echoes. Amelia and Thistle worked together, with Thistle's keen ears guiding them through the maze. After navigating the twists and turns, they emerged into a serene glade where the Heartstone stood, glowing softly in the moonlight. The final challenge was the riddle of the Heartstone. At the center of the glade stood the Heartstone, surrounded by a ring of glowing flowers. To make their wish, they needed to solve a riddle spoken by the Heartstone itself. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water can be my friend. What am I? Amelia thought deeply about the riddle and then answered with a smile, a flame. The Heartstone's light grew brighter, and a soft, warm glow enveloped them. Amelia and Thistle approached the Heartstone, and Amelia spoke her wish from the heart. I wish for the happiness and prosperity of everyone in Evergreen. I want to see our village and our land thrive with joy and peace. As Amelia's wish was spoken, the Heartstone's glow expanded, and the magic of the gem spread throughout the glimmering grove and beyond. The stars in the sky twinkled more brightly, and a gentle breeze carried the Heartstone's magic across the kingdom. When Amelia and Thistle returned to Evergreen, they found their village transformed. The fields were lush and green, the animals were healthy and joyful, and the people were filled with a deep sense of contentment and harmony. The tale of Amelia and Thistle's adventure and the magic of the glimmering grove became a cherished story in Evergreen, reminding everyone of the power of love, kindness, and selfless wishes. And so, the glimmering grove remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes came to life under the light of the stars. The end. In a land far beyond the hills and valleys, where the skies were always painted with the colors of twilight, there was a hidden kingdom known as Luminera. This magical realm was renowned for its glowing forests, shimmering lakes, and the gentle, luminous creatures that roamed its meadows. Luminera was concealed from the eyes of ordinary people, revealed only to those who possessed a heart full of wonder and bravery. One day, a young girl named Alina, who lived in a quaint village at the edge of the enchanted woods, overheard an old storyteller speaking of the hidden kingdom. Alina had always been curious and adventurous, often dreaming of discovering new worlds and meeting magical beings. The tale of Luminera captivated her, and she decided she would find the hidden kingdom herself. Armed with a small satchel of supplies and her trusty lantern, Alina ventured into the enchanted woods. The trees here were tall and ancient, their leaves glowing softly in the twilight. Alina followed a narrow, winding path that seemed to beckon her deeper into the forest. As night fell, the forest became even more enchanting. The lantern's light revealed tiny, sparkling fireflies that danced around her, guiding her through the darkness. Soon, Alina came across a babbling brook with waters that sparkled like diamonds. She noticed a small, intricately carved stone archway half hidden among the foliage. It seemed to shimmer with an ethereal light. Alina approached the archway and, with a mixture of excitement and trepidation, stepped through it. As she crossed the threshold, she found herself in a realm unlike any she had ever seen. The sky was a canvas of swirling colors, pinks, purples, and blues, with stars that twinkled like gems. The trees were tall and radiant, their leaves glowing in hues of gold and silver. Luminera was even more magnificent than she had imagined. In the heart of this magical kingdom, Alina saw a grand castle made of crystal, reflecting the light of the moon and stars. She approached the castle with awe and wonder. As she neared, the massive doors of the castle opened slowly, revealing a majestic hall filled with shimmering light and a soft, melodic hum. Inside the hall, a regal figure awaited her, the Queen of Luminera, who radiated an otherworldly grace. Her gown sparkled with the light of 1,000 stars, and her eyes held the wisdom of ages. "Welcome, Alina," the queen said in a voice like a gentle breeze. "I have been expecting you. The tales of your bravery and kindness have reached our realm." Alina was both amazed and honored. "How did you know my name?" The queen smiled. Luminera reveals itself to those who seek it with a pure heart. You have shown courage and curiosity, and your heart is full of wonder. Here, we have a special task for you. Alina listened intently as the queen explained that the balance of magic in Luminera had been disrupted by a dark enchantment. The enchantment had caused the once glistening rivers to dull and the glowing flora to fade. Only a rare flower, known as the moonlit blossom, had the power to restore harmony. The moonlit blossom grows in the shadowed grove, the queen continued, but it is protected by a gentle guardian who will only grant it to those who show true kindness. Alina accepted the quest with determination. Guided by the queen's instructions, she journeyed to the shadowed grove. The grove was a serene place, bathed in a soft, twilight glow. As Alina walked, she encountered various magical creatures, a lost pixie, a wounded deer, and a sad old tree. Each time, Alina helped them with a compassionate heart, using her lantern's light and her kindness. When Alina reached the moonlit blossom, she found the gentle guardian, a graceful, luminous deer with eyes like pools of starlight. The guardian observed Alina with curiosity. Alina approached the guardian and spoke softly. I seek the moonlit blossom to restore harmony to Luminera. I have helped those in need along the way, and I wish to bring peace to this kingdom. The guardian nodded, touched by Alina's sincerity. With a graceful gesture, the guardian presented the moonlit blossom to Alina. The flower glowed with a soft, soothing light. Alina returned to the castle with the moonlit blossom. The queen and the inhabitants of Luminera welcomed her with gratitude. Alina placed the blossom in the heart of the kingdom, and as its light spread, the enchantment lifted. The river sparkled once more, the flora glowed brightly, and the entire kingdom was filled with renewed magic and joy. The queen thanked Alina and offered her a place of honor in Luminera. But Alina, with a heart full of adventure, chose to return to her village, bringing with her the memories of a wondrous journey in the lesson that kindness and bravery can restore even the deepest of enchantments. Alina's village was amazed by her tales, and her spirit of adventure inspired them to look for magic and wonder in their own lives. And though the hidden kingdom of Luminera remained concealed, its magic lived on through the hearts of those who believed in the power of kindness and courage. The end. Once upon a time, in a serene village by the edge of a vast forest, there lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra had a gift. She could sing in a way that made flowers bloom and the sky light up with colors. Her melodies were cherished by the villagers, who often gathered to listen to her songs. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the land, Lyra received a mysterious letter. It was written in silver ink on parchment that shimmered like moonlight. The letter spoke of a magical lake hidden deep in the forest, known as the Moonlit Lake. It was said that the lake held a melody so enchanting that it could bring peace to any troubled heart. Intrigued, Lyra decided to find the lake and discover the melody for herself. She set off with a small satchel of provisions and a lantern to guide her through the darkening forest. The path was not easy, the forest was thick with tangled vines and twisting roots. As Lyra ventured deeper, she encountered a mischievous fox named Felix, who was playing with a glowing orb. "Hello, little fox," Lyra greeted. "Do you know the way to the Moonlit Lake?" Felix tilted his head and grinned. "I might, but it's not so simple. The forest is enchanted, and only those who show kindness will find the way." Lyra nodded, understanding the challenge. "I will help you with your orb if you guide me to the lake." Felix agreed, and together they set off. Along the way, they came across a clearing where a family of birds had built a nest, but the wind had blown it down. Lyra gently helped the birds rebuild their home, and in return, Felix led her to a hidden path. As they continued, they encountered a gnarled old tree with a face etched into its bark. The tree, named Elderwood, spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "To pass, you must answer my riddle. I am taken from a mine, and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I?" Lyra thought for a moment and then answered, "A pencil." Elderwood's eyes twinkled with approval, and he allowed them to pass. The path grew narrower and more winding, but Felix's glowing orb lit the way. Finally, they reached a moonlit glade where the moonlit lake shimmered like liquid silver. The lake was surrounded by luminescent flowers and glowing fireflies. At its center was a small island with an ancient, ornate harp resting on a pedestal. The air was filled with a soft, soothing hum. Lyra approached the harp and began to play. As her fingers danced across the strings, the melody that emerged was the most beautiful thing she had ever heard. It was as if the music was woven from the very essence of the moonlight and the stars. As Lyra played, the moonlit lake began to glow brighter, and a gentle mist rose from its surface. The mist formed into a delicate, ethereal figure, a spirit of the lake who spoke with a voice like a gentle breeze. "Thank you, Lyra," the spirit said. "You have awakened the true magic of the lake with your pure heart and beautiful music. The melody of the moonlit lake is meant to heal and bring peace. You are now its guardian." Lyra felt a deep sense of peace and purpose. She played the harp one last time, and the melody spread throughout the forest, touching every corner with its calming influence. The forest itself seemed to sigh with relief as the enchantment brought harmony to the land. Felix and Elderwood congratulated her, and the spirit of the lake bestowed upon Lyra a silver locket, shaped like a crescent moon. "This locket will remind you of the magic you have unlocked and the peace you have spread." With the locket around her neck and Felix by her side, Lyra made her way back to the village. The forest seemed brighter and more alive, and the villagers were enchanted by the calming magic that now permeated their home. Lyra continued to share her gift of music, and the melody of the moonlit lake became a cherished part of her songs. The village thrived in peace and harmony, and the magic of the lake lived on through Lyra's melodies. And they lived happily ever after. The end. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and shimmering lakes, there was a quaint little shop known as the Teapot and Tumbler. It was run by an elderly woman named Mrs. Merriweather, who was known for her enchanting collection of teapots and teacups. The shop was filled with the most beautiful, delicate porcelain, each piece with its own story. Among Mrs. Merriweather's collection was a particularly special teacup. This teacup was adorned with intricate designs of stars and moons and had a gentle, warm glow about it. The villagers often admired it but were unaware of its true magic. According to legend, the teacup had the power to grant a single wish to anyone who truly needed it. One chilly autumn afternoon, a young girl named Clara came into the shop. Clara was known for her kindness and her beautiful singing voice, but she was deeply troubled. Her village had been suffering from a long and harsh winter, and the crops had failed. The villagers were worried and needed help. But nothing seemed to be working. As Clara wandered through the shop, her eyes fell upon the enchanted teacup. She was drawn to it, as if it was calling to her. Mrs. Merriweather noticed Clara's fascination and gently approached her. "That teacup is very special," Mrs. Merriweather said with a twinkle in her eye. "It has the power to grant a wish, but only if it is made with a pure heart." Clara's heart sank a little. "I don't know if I have a wish to make. I just want to help my village." Mrs. Merriweather smiled warmly. "Sometimes, the most selfless wishes are the most powerful. If you truly believe, the teacup will sense your heart." Clara decided to take the teacup home. That night, under the light of a full moon, she held the teacup close and whispered her wish, "I wish for our village to be saved from this harsh winter and for our crops to grow again." As Clara spoke, the teacup began to glow brightly. She could feel a warm, comforting sensation spreading through her, as if the teacup was responding to her heartfelt plea. Clara placed the teacup on her kitchen table and went to bed, hopeful but unsure. The next morning, Clara awoke to a miraculous sight. The harsh winter seemed to have lifted overnight. The sky was clear, and a gentle, spring-like warmth filled the air. As Clara stepped outside, she saw that the fields were covered with fresh green sprouts, and the trees were beginning to bud with blossoms. It was as if her village had been touched by a spell of rejuvenation. News of the sudden change spread quickly through the village. The villagers were astonished and overjoyed. They thanked Clara and celebrated the return of warmth and prosperity. Clara knew in her heart that the enchanted teacup had worked its magic. That evening, Clara returned to Mrs. Merriweather's shop to return the teacup, but it was nowhere to be found. In its place was a note that read, "Dear Clara, the teacup's magic is now a part of your village. It was your selfless wish that made the magic work. The teacup will always be with you in your heart, reminding you of the power of kindness and the strength of a pure wish. Mrs. Merriweather." Clara smiled, understanding that the true magic was not just in the teacup, but in the genuine desire to help others. From that day on, Clara and the villagers lived in harmony and prosperity, always remembering the lesson of the enchanted teacup. As the years went by, the tale of Clara and the magical teacup became a cherished story in the village. The teacup itself was never seen again, but its magic continued to inspire acts of kindness and selflessness, reminding everyone that even the smallest acts of love could make a world of difference. And so, the village thrived under the blessings of spring and the warmth of community, forever touched by the magic of a selfless wish. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a village named Luminera. This village was unique because every night, its sky was lit up by the most spectacular display of stars. The villagers believed that their fortunes and well-being were tied to the brightness of these stars. Among the villagers lived a young girl named Lyra, who was known for her adventurous spirit and her deep connection to the night sky. Lyra lived with her grandmother, a wise woman who often told tales of magical creatures and ancient legends. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, her grandmother shared the most intriguing tale of all, the legend of the starlight flower. Long ago, her grandmother began, the heavens blessed our village with the starlight flower, a magical bloom that shines brighter than the stars themselves. It is said that the flower has the power to grant a single wish to whoever finds it. But beware, for the path to the flower is fraught with challenges that test the heart and spirit. Lyra's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Has anyone ever found the starlight flower, Grandma?" "Many have tried, my dear," her grandmother replied, "but none have returned. It is said that only the purest of heart can succeed." That night, as Lyra gazed at the starlit sky from her bedroom window, she felt a calling. She decided that she would find the starlight flower and use its magic to bring prosperity and joy to her village. At dawn, Lyra packed a small bag with essentials, some food, a flask of water, and her grandmother's compass. She set off on her journey, her heart filled with determination and hope. As she ventured into the dense forest surrounding Luminera, she encountered her first challenge, a wide, raging river. The current was too strong to swim across, and there was no bridge in sight. While pondering her options, Lyra noticed a family of beavers working tirelessly to build a dam. Inspired by their teamwork, she offered to help. With her assistance, the beavers quickly completed the dam, creating a safe passage across the river. "Thank you, kind girl," said the beaver leader. "You have shown us great kindness. May your journey be blessed." Lyra continued her journey with a newfound sense of camaraderie. As she delved deeper into the forest, she came upon a dark and twisted part of the woods, where eerie shadows danced and whispered. This was the Forest of Illusions, a place that preyed on one's fears and doubts. Lyra felt her heart race, but she remembered her grandmother's tales of courage. She took a deep breath, steadied her mind, and pressed on. Suddenly, a monstrous creature emerged from the shadows, blocking her path. It was a shadow beast, a fearsome being with glowing red eyes. "Turn back, or face your doom," it growled. Lyra stood her ground. "I am not afraid of you," she declared. "I seek the starlight flower to bring hope to my village. You cannot stop me." The beast lunged at her, but Lyra remembered the beavers and their teamwork. She quickly devised a plan, using the shadows to her advantage. She led the beast into a trap, where it became entangled in the thick vines and roots of the forest. The beast struggled but eventually vanished, defeated by its own darkness. Exhausted but undeterred, Lyra continued her journey. As the forest began to thin, she found herself at the foot of a towering mountain. At its peak, she knew, lay the starlight flower. The climb was steep and treacherous, but Lyra's resolve never wavered. Hours turned into days as she ascended the mountain. Her hands were blistered, and her legs ached, but the thought of her village kept her going. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she reached the summit. There, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, was the starlight flower. It was more beautiful than she had ever imagined, its petals shimmering with a celestial light. With trembling hands, Lyra approached the flower. "I wish for my village to be prosperous and joyful," she whispered. As she touched the flower, a warm, radiant light enveloped her, filling her with a sense of peace and fulfillment. The flower's magic flowed through her, and she knew her wish had been granted. Lyra descended the mountain, her heart light and her spirit soaring. When she returned to Luminara, she found the village transformed. The fields were lush and bountiful, the river flowed clear and strong, and the villagers were filled with joy and hope. They welcomed her back as a hero, and Lyra shared her tale of courage, kindness, and the power of a pure heart. From that day on, Luminara prospered under the bright starlit skies, and the legend of Lyra and the starlight flower was passed down through generations, a testament to the power of determination, bravery, and love. And so, the tale of the brave little girl who found the starlight flower and brought light to her village lived on, reminding all who heard it that even in the darkest times, a pure heart can shine the brightest. The end. Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom known as Evergreen, there was a wondrous glade called the Garden of Echoes. This garden was famous for its vibrant, enchanted flowers that bloomed in every color of the rainbow. Each flower held a unique magic, and the garden was tended by a wise old gnome named Thistlewick. Thistlewick had a special connection with the flowers and the garden's magic. He was known to grant a single wish to those who proved themselves worthy by completing 3 magical tasks. Many came seeking Thistlewick's help, but only a few succeeded. In the nearby village of Maplewood lived a kind-hearted girl named Leora. Leora was known for her love of animals and her generous spirit. She had always dreamed of making the world a better place but didn't know where to start. One day, she decided to visit the Garden of Echoes and seek Thistlewick's guidance. Accompanied by her loyal dog, Bramble, Leora journeyed through the lush forest that surrounded the garden. The path was adorned with sparkling dew and sweet-scented blossoms. As they approached the garden, they were greeted by Thistlewick, who was busy tending to the magical flowers. "Welcome, Leora," Thistlewick said with a twinkle in his eye. "To receive my help, you must complete 3 tasks that test your heart and spirit. Only then will I grant you a single wish." Leora nodded, determined to prove her worth. Thistlewick began with the first task, the trial of patience. He led her to a grove where a rare flower called the nightshade blossom was blooming. The blossom only opened once every 100 years and required a delicate touch. Leora and Bramble carefully approached the blossom. Thistlewick instructed them to wait quietly without disturbing the flower, as any sudden movement could make it close. For hours, they sat in silence, watching as the flower gradually unfurled its petals. Their patience paid off, and the nightshade blossom revealed its shimmering beauty. Having completed the first task, Thistlewick presented the trial of wisdom. He handed Leora a scroll with a riddle. "I am taken from a mine, and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I?" Leora pondered the riddle carefully. With Bramble's encouraging nudge, she recalled the answer. "Pencil," she said confidently. The riddle solved, the path to the next task was revealed. The final task was the trial of compassion. Thistlewick led Leora to a hidden corner of the garden where a small, injured creature lay, a tiny fairy with a broken wing. The fairy was weak and frightened, and Thistlewick explained that Leora needed to help heal the fairy. Leora gently picked up the fairy and used the herbs and salve she had brought with her. She spoke soothingly to the fairy and tended to its wing with utmost care. Bramble gathered fresh nectar from nearby flowers to help restore the fairy's strength. After some time, the fairy's wing began to heal, and its sparkle returned. With the 3 tasks complete, Thistlewick smiled warmly. "You have shown patience, wisdom, and compassion. Your heart is pure, and you have proven yourself worthy. Leora thanked Thistlewick and made her wish. "I wish for a way to help others in need, so I can spread kindness and make a difference in the world." Thistlewick nodded and handed Leora a small, enchanted seed. "Plant this seed in the heart of your village. It will grow into a tree of wishes, allowing you to help others and share the magic you found." Leora and Bramble returned to Maplewood and planted the enchanted seed in the village square. As the tree grew, it blossomed with golden leaves and magical fruit. Villagers could make their wishes, and the tree's magic would grant them hope and help. The Tree of Wishes brought prosperity and joy to Maplewood, and Leora's wish to spread kindness was fulfilled. The village flourished, and the spirit of generosity spread far and wide. And so, the legend of Leora and the Garden of Echoes became a beloved story in Evergreen, a testament to the power of patience, wisdom, and compassion. The end. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled at the edge of a great forest, there stood an ancient willow tree known for its enchanting whispers. The villagers spoke of its magical powers, though few had ever seen them for themselves. The tree was said to grant a single wish to anyone pure of heart who could solve its riddle. In this village lived a kind-hearted girl named Elara. She had a special bond with nature and spent many afternoons sitting under the willow, sharing her dreams and secrets. One day, a great sorrow befell the village. A terrible drought had withered the crops and dried up the wells, leaving the villagers without food or water. Desperate, they turned to Elara, hoping she might find a solution. Remembering the tales of the willow's magic, Elara decided to seek its help. Early one morning, she made her way to the tree, carrying with her a basket of wildflowers and a small bottle of spring water. As she approached, the willow's long branches seemed to reach out as if welcoming her. "Elara," the willow's voice murmured, "you have come to me with hope in your heart. But to receive my help, you must solve my riddle." Elara, though nervous, nodded. "I'm ready," she said. The willow's branches rustled, and a soft, melodic voice spoke. "In the heart of the forest, beneath the moon's soft glow, lies the answer you seek where the wildflowers grow. A secret is hidden, a mystery to unfold. Find the magic within, and the story will be told." Elara pondered the riddle. She knew the forest well and had always admired its beauty, but she had never thought of it as a place of hidden secrets. Determined to help her village, she set off on a quest to unravel the willow's riddle. As the sun began to set, casting a golden light through the trees, Elara ventured deeper into the forest. She followed the path she had often walked, but this time she looked with new eyes, searching for something she might have missed before. Just as the moon began to rise, Elara stumbled upon a clearing she had never seen. In the center of the clearing was a ring of vibrant wildflowers, their colors shimmering under the moonlight. Elara approached cautiously, her heart pounding with excitement. In the middle of the ring, she saw a small stone pedestal with an ancient inscription. The inscription read, "To find the magic, you must give what you cherish most. Only then will the secret be revealed." Elara took a deep breath and thought of what she cherished most. It wasn't a tangible object, but rather the love and hope she held for her village and its people. With this in mind, she placed her hand on her heart and whispered a heartfelt wish for the well-being of her village. As she did so, a soft glow began to emanate from the pedestal. The glow grew brighter, enveloping the wildflowers in the clearing in a warm, comforting light. Suddenly, the ground beneath the pedestal began to shimmer, and a hidden spring emerged, its waters clear and sparkling. Elara rushed back to the village, her heart full of hope. She led the villagers to the spring, and their joy was overwhelming. The water was pure and plentiful, and it soon revived the parched land, bringing life back to the crops and wells. The village prospered once more, and the people celebrated with a grand feast, giving thanks to Elara and the enchanted willow. They learned that the magic of the willow was not just in the granting of wishes, but in the purity of heart and selfless love that had unlocked its secrets. From that day on, the willow tree continued to stand as a symbol of hope and magic, and Elara's story was told for generations as a reminder that the greatest magic comes from the love and kindness within our hearts. And so, the village thrived in harmony with the forest, forever grateful for the enchanted willow that had taught them the true power of a pure heart. And they all lived happily ever after.